Welcome to the following presentation of the Southeastern Conference on ABC.
That borderline rivalry for me is personal. Being a college football fan, you definitely know about this game.
Somebody told me they'd never scored 50. Now guys want to score 50.
For each other and with each other cannot be defeated.
That's the whole team.
The whole team is on the field. Let's take the fight to them.
We have the talent to beat any team in the country. Georgia only beats Georgia.
The Gators and the Dogs, 102nd time. Welcome to Jacksonville. Physically punishing, emotionally charged, deeply personal border rivalry here. Beautiful, sunny, breezy day in North Florida. Welcome to the SEC on ABC, presented by Burger King. Dogs come in ranks number 2 off that big win in Texas. The Gators begin a 4-game gauntlet that will define their season. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, our first chance to call what used to be the cocktail party. We've seen a few from ringside down there. Looking forward to this one.
Yeah, this is exciting because it's Georgia, obviously, especially off the game that we played against Texas a couple weeks ago, a bye to get even healthier. They look to me like the best team in the country. Here comes Florida in a rivalry game with a young quarterback. They got to play well early, get themselves to believe they got a chance to pull off an upset.
Yeah, DJ Lagway, that talented true freshman quarterback, making just his 3rd career start. Kirby Smart hoping to get his defense after the young guy. He's with Holly Rowe.
Well, Coach, you've been a part of this rivalry game as a player, as a coach. What is the most important thing to have success out there today?
Composure. Rivalry games are always that way. A lot of energy. Keep your composure. Push through that first win.
Trevor Etienne's been on both sides. What's your advice to that young man today?
Composure. Go play, man.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
As a player in this rivalry, Florida had the edge, but as a coach, Kirby Smart 6-2 against the Gators. And he talked about his running back there, Trevor Etienne, the last couple of years played against Georgia for Florida.
Boy, he looked good a couple weeks ago. They were able to get him out in space, and a big part of the plan today, running the football, getting the ball out of the backfield, 20 to 25 touches. At a minimum, they said he is really keyed up, as you'd expect, playing against his former teammates.
Kirby Smart said composure. That's what he hopes to have, but it's tough in this game.
Speaking about composure, Carson Beck, who grew up in this area, grew up a huge Florida Gator fan, following Tim Tebow, his favorite quarterback, grew up in this area, continues to work in the offseason to continue to fine-tune his skill set, and you know he's amped up here back in his hometown as well.
Oh yeah, he played Pee Wee football on this field. Florida was his childhood team. Last go-round against the Gators.
Yep.
We'd expect him to play very well, cut down on those mistakes. Georgia's offense on the field momentarily. Trey Smack to kick it away. Anthony Evans, the Dogs' normal returner and receiver, out injured today. So 2 men are deep, including Cash Jones and Dylan Bell. Away we go. Wind is at the back of the Gators here in the first quarter, and Beck will come out here first. He's played his high school ball about 18 miles away from here, but at 11 years old, he lost a Pee Wee championship game on this field, if you can believe it.
Unbelievable. Just an opportunity to, again, one of the better quarterbacks when he came out as a high school senior at 18, decides to go to Georgia, had to sit behind Stetson Bennett, pay his dues, and obviously took over the last couple years.
There's his mom, Tracy, in the 15 black jersey. It is complicated, as she said. Again, the whole family, Gator fans, until Carson made his choice. Pitch it on the edge. And the catch made by Dominic Lovett. Figures to be involved often today. Picked up about 5. Let's take a look at the Home Depot impact players.
We talked about ETN. He's going to be a big part of this plan and what they want to do. Dylan Bell on the outside, 86. Leads a very talented group. Jack Pyburn and Tyler Sapp off the edge of this defense. Got to get after Beck.
They fake it to ETN, pitch it on the edge. Lovett, another catch, a very short gain. It'll set up 3rd and about 2. This Georgia offensive line is getting healthier. Tate Ratledge not making the start, but he's available to go back in, Kirk, after missing 4 games.
Yeah, I feel with Micah Morris in there, Xavier Truss been very strong with Rutledge out on that right side. Very physical.
And first carry of the day, and showing that leg drive. Etienne moves forward, and it is going to be a first down.
Yeah, boy, it looked, watching it live, like Caleb Banks might have got his right hand up near the face mask. I don't know if they didn't call anything. I don't know if he pulled on it, but he definitely came in high on that tackle.
Etienne says nothing but love for his former teammates, but it did sting them when he transferred to Georgia. No doubt about that.
Yeah, and there's the look at it right there, 88. See him pulling him, trying to keep him back, but he does get the first down.
Nate Frazier spells him, and he's got the football. True freshman out of Compton, California. Holly?
Well, guys, Trevor Etienne, this is weird today. Honestly, he's got a lot of friends on the other side, and Kirby Smart wanted to be smart and actually have him speak with a sports psychologist this week. Learn how to keep your composure. Make this only about the football game. Focus on what's ahead of you and let your emotions not take you away from what you're supposed to be doing on play-to-play. I did talk to Shamar James on the Florida Gators side, the linebacker. He said, we're still boys. We still text. Of course we love each other. But when the ball's kicked off, no friends out here today.
Yeah, we'll talk about all the personal stories, all the connections. Meanwhile, the guy you just talked about, Micah Morris, the starting right guard, is down on the field.
Yeah, we just talked about what he has meant to this offense.
Brief shot of Tate Ratledge, who had that tightrope surgery on the ankle, hurt his ankle against Kentucky, slowly working his way back. It's been a pretty quick recovery, and looks like he might have to go in earlier than we thought.
Yeah,
today.
Morris is up on his feet. Good to see him walking off.
Amazing job filling in.
He really has. Yeah, yeah. And it looks like Ratledge, not only is he available, but like you said, Chris, he will be inserted into the lineup. Back, three-year starter, comes back into this lineup. Good to see for Georgia fans that he's back, and let's hope for all the best for 56.
Georgia's been so effective throwing the football. Let's see if they can get the running game going against this tough Florida defense.
I thought it was interesting, Kirby telling us this week that with the bye week, they still scouted their offense, been too much pass heavy. Want to get back to establishing that run with their backs that they have starting today.
You're right, especially pass heavy early in games.
Yeah.
Mike Bobo, the play caller. Beck looking to throw on second down. That's an easy pitch and catch, and wide open there is Dylan Bell, one of his main targets. First down near midfield. They got 13.
And when they give you that kind of cushion, you've got to take it. Carson Beck, good job of seeing this. It's an easy pitch and catch on that glance route with a corner sitting back at 8 to 10 yards. Florida's all about keep everything in front of them. They don't want to give up the big play.
Pump fake, looking downfield, launches, jump ball, and trying to make a circus catch is Sakovi White, the freshman, just over his hand.
Well, there's the pump and go, double move. Remember, Florida early in the year, pretty good effort there with that right hand. Early in the year, this Florida defense, boy, oh boy, they were giving up more big plays through the air on the back end with bust or just getting beat. And they had a bye themselves around the end of September. Changed everything defensively, more of a bend but don't break, safety's back, let's keep everything in front mentality.
Their best corner, Jason Marshall, is out today injured. It's a serious problem. We'll talk about Florida's injuries on the offensive side, but the loss of Marshall, 35 straight starts. First game he's ever missed in his career. There's a flag on the field, by the way.
Yes, I mean, what a game to miss,
yeah.
Right? I mean, you work so hard and has some experience. I hate to see a guy that's any player that's ever out for the season, but especially when
there
you're
is no
looking
foul
forward
on
to
the
this
play.
one.
It'll be third down.
Shoulder injury that he hurt in the Kentucky game.
Yeah. Chris just kind of keying, just watching these plays live. The right guard in there, Ratledge, looked good on his first couple plays here, going up against Desmond Watson. I don't know what the official weight of big Desmond Watson is these days. They got him listed at 449. Welcome back, Tate Ratledge, after weeks off. You go up against a 450-pounder.
That's a test of that ankle. The stability right away.
Yeah.
Cass Jones is the back. He's in motion. Beck has plenty of time, launches downfield, and it's Jones out of the backfield. Just overthrew him. He had a step. And the man covering him, Aaron Gates.
Yeah, they motioned him out of the backfield to create this matchup one-on-one against 13. Here he is right here. He motions out. They get the matchup that they want.
They go for it a lot on fourth down. They need about 4 here.
Try that hurried quick snap to try to see if they could get him to jump early in this game. Florida's defense amped up. They showed the discipline there.
Chance for the Gators, big underdogs here to get off the field.
And they need something to get them to believe early in this game.
Play clock at 2.
Wow.
We're going to snap it.
Yeah, delay a game, so they're going to get the stop that they wanted.
11 of 13 on 4th down. I'm a little surprised they didn't go for it right there.
Yeah, me too. Especially the confidence that they have in their own defense.
Well, they're going to pin a true freshman quarterback back deep if the punter, Brett Thorson, does his job, and one of 2 Aussies who are among the best in the country today. What a job he did against Texas. It was a big part of that win.
And he does it all. I mean, he can hit a boomer. He can also, like we'll see right here, he can pin you inside a 10-yard line. Just everything. You look how big he is. Pat McAfee would love him. Look at the size of this punter.
It says 235. I'm saying it's north of that.
He's a hoss. He's a big guy.
Kicks it high with backspin. DK will watch it bounce out of bounds. That's what you want to do. Didn't pin him quite as deep as he was hoping.
13.
He'll take over at the 13-yard line. So here comes DJ Lagway, the freshman 5-star out of Texas. His first taste of this rivalry game. It's about to happen. DJ Lagway, a small-town kid from Texas, #1 quarterback prospect in that 24 recruiting cycle. Comes to Florida when Graham Mertz had a concussion. He stepped in and he blew up Samford, 456 yards. Mertz then an ACL out for the year, and it's been Lagway's show since then. He got them into overtime in the loss to Tennessee, beat Kentucky, and here we go, the Georgia Bulldogs in his 3rd career start. Jacoby Jackson in the end around. They try to piece together a running game, Kirk, without their best back, Montrell Johnson, today.
Yeah, that is a significant loss, especially when you have a freshman quarterback. Jaden Ball's got to be able to run. Another true freshman. Badger on the outside gets downfield, does a really good job. Michael Williams, boy, a dynamic difference maker, along with 11 Walker, who moves from that off-ball middle linebacker up to the edge in those passing downs. They need some yards on 2nd down. You do not want to put this true freshman in this environment at 3rd and 7 and 3rd and 8.
And they get a burst up the middle. Shoestring tackle on Jacoby Jackson by C.J. Allen. It'll set up 3rd and short. This is a Florida offensive line that's got some dudes trying to play through some injuries. Damian George, their right guard, struggling to play today.
Slaughter really has been the difference for these guys turning the corner with the freshman. The leader, the anchor, does a great job of making the calls and taking some of it off of Lagway.
You need 4 to get this drive going. Lagway's first pass attempt is high, and it's caught by Aiden Mizell, and he is going to get just enough for the 1st down. Nice completion to get this quarterback settled in. Kirk, his pulse has to be about 150.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Really good call by Russ Callaway here, because he uses the motion. You see, it's a match coverage, meaning that you got to communicate and pass off a guy that goes from one side of the field to the other. And the corner Everett that time passed him over. Nobody picked him up. So a lot of pre-snap movement with Florida that Georgia is going to have to communicate with.
Mizell in motion. Lagway across the middle. Incomplete. Tried to find DK. Lagway has a great arm, throws the ball downfield. The shots downfield, best thing he does.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a different offense because of a couple things. Number one, this kid can run. Georgia has to account for a quarterback run. With Graham Mertz, that was never the case. That's the first thing. And then you see the 9 completions of 30 yards in the air, 2nd in the country, and played a lot of football, meaning they will take shots. And with all that pre-snap movement, biggest challenge Georgia has is him running the football and then taking shots and being on the same page, not busting in coverage with that movement.
Another one of those crucial plays, Kirk. You talk about 2nd and 10. They get just a couple, and so Lagway is going to face this pressure package. Here comes all the dogs running out there for 3rd and long.
Yeah, and Georgia knows that they want to take pressure off of a young quarterback, so you're running into one of the best fronts in the country, especially now that they're healthy. And it's been a different defense that we saw in Austin from where they were early in the year when they had some injuries up front after the Clemson game.
Number 11, Jalen Walker. Michael Williams, number 13. They just terrorized Ewers and the Longhorns in Austin. And Lagway will take off, and long way to go. Not going to get there. Knocked down about 3 yards short of the marker. And the punt team will come out. KJ Bolden filling in for Dan Jackson. He sits out the first half, as does Jonel Aguero. Both guys were guilty of targeting in the second half in Austin.
Yeah, they don't have a ton of depth there. They both are. They'll be back in the second half like you mentioned. But KJ Bolden is talented of a true freshman as there is in college football this year. Does a great job playing with poise on that back end. Good blitz that time on third down by Chris Cole, the former safety who has moved to backer. Did a nice job there, flushing Lagway out of there.
Malachi Stark, starting safety, back as a returner. Jeremy Crawshaw, the other talented Aussie, just booms it down there. Breeze at his back, and it's a long punt. And the Gators able to flip the field. And Starks has dropped at the 11-yard line after a 58-yard punt. Carson Beck back in his hometown. Second Dogs possession coming up after this.
The SEC on ABC is presented by Burger King. You rule. And in part by the refreshing taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Please drink responsibly.
National championship coaches representing these two schools. All four of those guys did very well, as you might expect, against the rival. Smart won 6 of the last 7. Steve Spurrier against Georgia 11-1. Urban Meyer 5-1 against the Dogs, and things began to turn after he and Tebow left. Began to turn Georgia's way. Billy Napier grew up in Georgia, knows all about this rivalry, although he didn't play at either school. Dogs from the 12. Cass Jones is the back. And it's a pop pass around the edge. Bell, they use him many ways, and he patiently picks his way for about 8 yards.
The tight ends here doing their job. Jurisic, 84, is going to lead the way. Keep an eye on this block right here and watch what he does. Just, if you're going out to the outside, you need to be able to pick up blocks, be able to stretch it, and get this. Bell almost runs it more as a running back when they get him these gadget plays. He's a very talented player, but great blocks to help spring him loose there, get positive yards after being really pushed back deep in their own territory after that 60 net punt.
Etienne over the left side, well aware how emotional this game was going to be for him. Kirby Smart told us that the Georgia sports psychologist had a nice little conference with him, telling him to, because he's an emotional guy anyway, just be calm, be composed, as bad as he wants to do well.
Yeah, and he said it again with Holly there, and just he opened, just composure, and you know, big part. I think that's been a big theme all week, and especially with him and Carson Beck because of his ties here locally. But now it's just about execution, right? Now it's just about going out there and doing your job.
You fake it to him on first down. Beck eyeing downfield across the middle. Has Arian Smith wide open. And the Dogs' dangerous receiver moves the football to midfield. Picked up 25.
Boy, does a good job. Watch the action and how it affects these linebackers. It makes him move around. Beck looks to his left. He comes back to his right, and it opens up perfectly because of the tight end clearing that underneath coverage from that Gators defense. Good patience that time by Carson Beck, and he throws it right on the money.
Smith, one of the many players who grew up around this rivalry, comes from North Florida, over near the Tampa area in Polk County. Again, the fake to Etienne. Beck aggressively pushing the ball downfield. That was a little bit behind Lovett, and it's incomplete.
Well, he had it. You know, Lovett has taken over there in the slot this year for Ladd McConkey, and more than capable. Balls behind him. He had a step there. He was actually pulling away from Bridges, the safety, the transfer out of Oregon. 1st and 10, they decided to throw the football, which has been really a common theme for them all year. They're 120th in the country with how many times they're running the football.
You run it here to Etienne, averaging almost 300 passing yards. I think we both expect Beck to play well today. You know, despite being keyed up, you know, he's had some troubles. You got multiple interception games, 3 of the last 4, didn't have one all of last year. And I think you feel he's sometimes just kind of guiding the ball a little bit.
I do. I just think that anytime, and it's not easy when you get so much preseason hype, and I think sometimes these guys in the college game, they press a bit. You know, I'm not saying all the time, but there's certain times I think if you watch him compared to where he was a year ago, when he was a bit of a surprise, you didn't see that. This year, I think you have seen more of it.
3rd and 9, Lovett. Nice run after the catch, and it's enough for a first down. Impossible not to miss Brock Bowers, Ladd McConkey, who are leading their NFL teams in receptions as rookies. And the trust is still being built up, I feel like, with Beck in this group.
I agree. I think, watch this right here. That's speaking of trust. He's making sure that everybody sees what he sees, which is a big cushion on that right side. Making sure, check the little hand signals. Everything was about communication. They've had some miscues early here against Alabama. This time right on the same page.
Deep drop, flag down, ball caught across the middle at the 22-yard line by Dillon Bell, but that's in the area where you suggest might be against the offensive line.
Right tackle, Truss definitely pulled a guy
number
down.
73, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, first down.
50-year senior.
Right here. It really was. Sometimes it's when a guy gets outside of you that you get a little handsy. This time he just
wrestling move,
big time wrestling move. Goldberg's here. He's an honorary captain for Georgia. He must have talked to him pregame. Big time grapple.
Sets him back at 1st and 20. I'll give you a shot at Goldberg, who's in the Hall of Fame for this game. This game's so big, there's a Hall of Fame just for this rivalry game. Etienne around the edge, and they rip at the football. He holds on to it. There's Bill Goldberg. He was an all-SEC guy. Loved tackling Emmitt Smith when they took on each other back in the day.
Great Georgia player back in the late 80s. Great big-time wrestler.
His son Gage is a Colorado player, plays for Deion.
He and I were talking back and forth. He was going on and on and on about Deion, and he's known him for so long and what he's meant to him as a person, and not just as when he was a player, and now what he's meant to his son, being a mentor.
Slant, and the catch is made. Bell breaks free, and he's inside the Florida 20. Active early.
And they're probably going to go hurry, but watch how he makes the decision, anticipates. You're going to see this nickel just off to his left. He's got to get that ball out in a hurry. Look at that tight window and good throw because it got out early.
Cash Jones carry on first down. Jack Pyburn got him down. Effective use of tempo tactically by this offense.
Illegal substitution. Defense. 12 players on the field at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
And Sheriff Denson was trying to get off the field, and the ball was snapped right as he was on the last step. I mean, looks like his foot was almost in the air. That's what Billy Napier, I think, was frustrated about. Watch up at the top there. Right there, ball is snapped. I mean, it's really, really close.
Could have let that one go, I suppose. Two-back look, Nate Frazier and Cash Jones flanking back here in this 1st and 5. And out of the backfield, they find Oscar Delp, the tight end, breaks a tackle, banged out, 1st and goal, Dogs, about the 6.
Boy, Florida's defense that time just out of position. If he wanted to, look at 32. There's nobody with him down the sideline on that rail route. So they were thoroughly confused. Georgia picks up big yards.
What a drive for the Dogs. 10th play coming up. Plowing ahead is Frazier. They were backed up at the beginning of this drive after the great punt. Just a nice run-pass mix, and now threatening here late first quarter.
Good job there, at least on that 1st and 10 by the Gators interior on that counter play. They got a good push into the backfield, blew that up. 44, Jack Pyburn leading the way. Plays with a ton of emotion. Another kid from Jacksonville, played here locally at Bowles High School.
Top tackler on this defense. 2nd and goal. Fake it to Jones. Beck on the move, scanning, flips it end zone, and it's Urasek. No signal yet. No, he didn't stay in bounds.
It's tight, pretty good tight coverage there by Bridges. This is really his only target that he had. You saw the back out of the backfield there, Cash Jones, but that ball went right through his arms. He doesn't get a foot down anyway. So now it's 3rd down here.
Gators been pretty good red zone defense so far. Dogs not quite as efficient scoring touchdowns here as you might expect it to be. Beck sets, and the ball is batted down at the line of scrimmage, and this Gator defense makes a nice stand.
It's Jordan Castile. They bring pressure here, kind of roll the dice on third down and say, hey, we're gonna give it a chance and see what we can do. Comes close to getting the pressure to come up with a sack. There's an open receiver, but he uses his length there to be able to get up and bat that ball down. Helps being 6'2" to knock that one away. So they do their job, 1st and goal, inside right around the 5-yard line. They get them off the field.
The reliable Peyton Woodring missed just one all year for a chip shot. You're absolutely right, though. It's a long march by the Dogs, but I think Florida will take that. Just 3 points on the board. They chewed up 6:15.
Feel me, Mark?
Beautiful 82-degree day in Jacksonville. Aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear, celebrating the challenge of road games everywhere. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. And this game in prime time tonight in the SEC. The fighting Texas Aggies. We saw them beat LSU, first place in the conference, still undefeated in league play. Visiting Shane Beamer and the Gamecocks in prime time on ABC.
What a game. Marcel Reed, we saw what he would do last week when he got inserted in against LSU in the middle of that game. LSU didn't have an answer. South Carolina has had a week to get ready. Always dangerous to go to Columbia at night. Can't wait to watch that one after this.
Well, in this rivalry, it's been weirdly streaky. And for about 20 years, Georgia, they're stuck in traffic. Look at the Gators in the express lane there. Steve Spurrier's winning big.
I love that.
That includes the Meyer era. Then he left, and since then,
well,
it's the Dogs cooking with gas, and the Gators have been in a little trouble. 6 of the last 7. The last 3, by the way, have been by 3 touchdowns plus for the Dogs. And
that is wild.
That's
in a rivalry game, because it's so streaky.
Yeah.
You know, at one point, Urban Meyer, Steve Spurrier dominating, and of course now we have Kirby. It's crazy. Last 50 split in half.
I'll say this, brother. We're overdue for a close one. The last 10 have been double digits.
Yeah, good. All right.
This Jaden Baugh takes the pitch, and the freshman builds some steam and picks up about 7. He comes from Atlanta. When they started Baugh and Lagway together, first time in Florida history that ever started a running back and a quarterback, true freshman, same game.
Yeah.
Done it twice now.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing a little bit more now because of the development of these players. But nice way to start that first play of this drive. Behind that left side zone play. Nice double teams. Tough to do against Georgia's defense, as we know.
227-pounder, strong, has great instincts and a big future, does Baugh. Comes from Atlanta. Important game for him against the Dogs here. He's got the football again, and he slipped as he tried to make a cut, and he ran right into Chaz Chambliss, and that's never a good idea. So 3rd and short coming up now.
Well, all that movement. I mean, they must have had 3 different aspects within that. They at one point started with Badger on the right. They moved him over to the left. Then they're going to move the tight ends. That's the last thing they did. They motion him over. Georgia has simplified this week. They want to be able to get their cleats in the ground, not worry about all that having to adjust to the movement.
Gators can get this drive going, need a long yard. The defense was on the field a long time. Don't want to send them right back out there, and they've just got a tougher job now. A 5-yard penalty will make this a much trickier third down.
Offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
It's Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon.
Chris, it's an interesting thing. Jake Slaughter with the Georgia movement on this play. Watch his hand come up and adjust to the movement. And once he does that, he has to communicate. And that communication makes that snap late. Everyone else moved. He had to worry about that movement, and it made him just a second late on the snap.
It's a great spot. Dogs crowding the line now on 3rd and 6. Lagway from the pocket, trying to escape, flips it high and incomplete over the middle. He had Arliss Boardingham, the tight end, open, but airmailed it a little bit. And it's going to be 4th down.
As you would expect, this defense is dialed in on the threat of the quarterback taking off. Bolden, the safety, he came down almost as a 3rd linebacker. So you had 2 linebackers and a safety there to account for the threat of the young freshman who has the ability to run the football. They forced him to have to throw it. Ball got away from him there. Good job of being disciplined by Georgia on defense.
So Lagway with his tough assignment, 1 of 3 passing so far for just 4 yards, and Crawshaw in, trying to come up with another big punt. Drives Starks back to the 18, and there's a chance to get going a little bit. Tough for the coverage team to get down here that quickly. Aaron Gates did make the tackle, a 52-yarder.
Let's look at Carson Beck and what he's done so far. Just working through progressions left to right, opened up the middle very nicely for Arian Smith. Here's the communication, making sure in this rivalry everybody's on the same page. Quick flip out to Lovett. With that soft cushion, he's able to get big yards for a first down. There's the accuracy and anticipation. It's 72 yards after the catch because this Florida defense is sitting back. And the answer to that is Carson Beck with screens and just quick throws. Take those yards and let your athletes do the work after the catch.
Running left, Frazier making tackles, and a solid first down gain. What's going to be the final play of the first quarter. Dogs had a long drive stall inside the 5. Their field goal is the difference after 15 minutes here in Jacksonville. Back for the second quarter after this message and a word from your local ABC station. You're watching the SEC on ABC. 3-0 Georgia. Set for the second quarter, SEC on ABC, presented by Burger King. Dogs had the football up 3-0. Unlike the Red River rivalry, Kirk, where they divided by the 50-yard line, they kind of split it end to end here. See the Florida fans on the far side, Georgia on the near side. 92nd year it's been played here in Jacksonville. Played here ever since the home of the Jaguars was built in '95. 2nd and 3. ETN hasn't really made a big impact yet. He was dragged down after a short gain. It'll be enough to move the 6. Joey Slackman on the tackle.
Holly mentioned that Tate Ratledge, who came in for Micah Morris, they'd be rotating. She mentioned that Micah is okay. He's in fact back out there at right guard. Went down early with an injury, walked off, got looked at, taped him up, and good to see him. He's been a powerful force in for Ratledge, who's been down with an injury.
Toughest player on the team, says Kirby Smart.
Yeah.
Back on the move, fires back across the middle and has London Humphreys wide open in Florida territory after an 18-yard gain.
But when he's in rhythm, how pretty is this? And by the way, no pass rush. Rushing 3, dropping 8, but with his accuracy and when he's on with his decision making, I don't know if I would go that route with him.
There's a 4-man rush, and again, plenty of time to backpedal and look down the field. He threw it into harm's way, and it's intercepted. Devin Moore for the Gators, trying to make a big play. Still running, knocked down finally at the 43, and the interception problems for Carson Beck continue. Threw it into double coverage.
Yeah, well, Devin Moore was actually up tight, and then he comes off of the running back who's out of the backfield. He's out over here. You may lose him, but he's up on ETN, but there's already a defender there. See, there's a defender, so he decides instead of being here, he's going to sink back into coverage, and that's what I think may have surprised Carson Beck. He thought he was up tight on ETN, but he sinks back, keeps his eyes on that football, and there's where, again, that length pays off. That's a 6'2" corner who goes up to climb the ladder to make that interception.
Again, Jason Marshall, their best cover corner, is out of the game. Devin Moore, one of the guys that has to step up. And Kirby Smart's quarterback has now thrown 9 picks in the last 5 games.
It's kind of been something we've seen a lot more from him this year. By the way, nice pressure that time to force that ball by Cameron James.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown! Aiden Mizell and the Gators take that takeaway and cash it in immediately to jump in front. 43 yards on the strike. Boy, is he talented throwing downfield.
Well, this is what they're known for. Run the football, and then the play-action shots. I'm not real sure. Oh, there's the umpire. I'm not real sure what Malachi Starks is looking at, but he's up with his eyes in the backfield. Does not do a good job of getting back, anticipating that those receivers to his right, they're potentially, again, if you think about what they're going to do, they're going to take shots. They're going to hit those deep crossers, posts, seam routes. That time he just got lost, got behind Starks, and there's Lagway with the accuracy on those deep throws.
George has been so vulnerable to those deep shots this season. It's been a recurring problem. Smart tried to address it in the 2 weeks getting ready because they know that this guy, Lagway, can chuck it deep. 6th completion this season of 40-plus yards, and he hasn't played all that much.
I know. Second to nation.
Gators are in front. DJ Lagway striking quickly. One play after Devin Moore's interception had set the Gators up. And that sudden change defense for the Dogs beaten deep by Mazel. So the big underdogs here. Up early second quarter. Second straight game with a pick for Moore. And a 52-yard return against the Wildcats of Kentucky. 32-yard return today.
Quick turn of events.
Dogs were controlling the clock, controlling the game on the move.
The two things that Georgia knew that were going to be a challenge, and what Florida had to do was, number one, they wanted to be able to get Carson Beck off of his spot, and they did with Cameron James up at the top, just flushing him out. It's a different Carson Beck when you get him off his spot, and this is what we were talking about. Good job here, feeling it. There's already a defender there, so right there he releases the ball, and as he does, that's exactly where you end up getting the interception, and then the very next play, sudden change. Malachi Starks with his eyes in the backfield, maybe on that crossing route underneath, and loses the other side with Michael getting behind him for the touchdown.
Back across the middle, wide open. Jurasek and the tight end rumbling into Gator territory. Beck right back to work. He's been pretty good this year, just kind of moving on after a mistake.
That's exactly what I was thinking. We've called so many of his games, you know, whether it's Alabama or Texas, where he's had some mistakes. Nice 31-yard gain. It's the response. And, man, that's what you really want to see from a quarterback. Everyone's going to make mistakes. What does he go down? Does he kind of get worried, get a little more conservative? Instead, like you said, very next chance, throws a strike to the tight end.
Frazier dragged down behind the line. Holly, you had a nice conversation with Carson about that kind of next play mentality and testing his composure moments like this.
Absolutely. He said that his resilience and composure is the thing he's the most proud of this year. He used the game against Texas as an example. 100,000 people, momentum against you, and he had already thrown 3 picks. And he said, I had a chance on the 10-yard line, 3rd and 12. I knew I didn't have a choice. I just had to make that play. If I think about what happened before, I don't make the right play for my team. He's going to move on quickly from that mistake.
And that was the big completion to Smith on 3rd down. Then they had the flea flicker the next play. And all of a sudden, the lead was secure. Here comes a flag on the tackle behind the line of scrimmage there. Lovett was brought down by Aaron Gates.
Had
the face mask.
The big fella, Desmond Watson. He's out there playing with a lot of energy. 450 pounds. I think he got the face mask.
A lot of
right
energy,
there.
A lot of body, a lot of hair, a lot of face mask.
Yeah, he got it. He definitely got it.
Personal foul.
Well, that was a big stop, by the way. They had 3 or 4 defenders there. You're talking about 3rd down and long, and now because of that face mask, 15 yards and plus territory.
Let's talk about the bulk. Do you understand, like, the strength of that man? The folks in the weight room, he is an absolute monster in the weight room.
Oh, he better be. I mean, look at that. He's a big dude.
But you look at that and you think athlete.
Yeah. I know. Billy Napier's fired up. He's saying that he didn't get the face mask, that he got underneath the face mask, but I think it looked like he grabbed it.
Oh, the catch plus the penalty moves the ball to the 31. Beck has plenty of time. Across the middle. Throws another pick. He picked off by Aaron Gates. Back-to-back possessions, and Gates is still going. Tackled out near midfield. My goodness.
This is just great job by Florida, but another bad decision by Carson Beck. He works from his left. He's going to get pressure right here by this defensive end. Caleb Banks does a good job of winning, just enough to make Carson Beck feel him, but you get from behind, you look at this throw, he throws it into a tight window again. There's 2 different Gators there ready to make the interception. Gates, who's off to a big start, makes the pick for the Gators. Let's take a look at the AT&T clicker. Ratledge is back in the game. Morris moves over to left guard, and then a backup now at tackle in Monroe Freeling, and they bring the blitz. It creates a one-on-one on this left side of the Georgia defense. See this right here? So you get pressure. Beck's looking left. He comes back right. They want to move him off his spot, and then look at the decision downfield where he tried to squeeze this ball in between two defenders. Gators take advantage of it. Remember, they just turned the last turnover. Next play around midfield, they hit a touchdown downfield.
This is 4 out of 5 games now, multiple picks. I think we thought that he would cure that problem, play well in this game. But the Gators were set up near midfield, trying to add to an unlikely early lead. Jaden Baugh has it off the right side. Kirby Smart got up with his quarterback, got to put an arm on either side of his neck, and they got face to face. What do you think he was saying?
I don't. He's just trying to encourage him, trying to tell me he believes. Ja'Cory Thomas, by the way, Chris, just went down. Remember, Aguero's out because of the targeting against Texas. He's normally in that slot spot. Thomas is in for him now. Dan Jackson, the other safety, who's out for the first half. So they're very thin on the back end. And now for Thomas to go down here, that is not good news for Georgia, who's got to get through the rest of the 11:34 in the first half till they can get Jackson and Aguero back.
Looking at his leg, yeah, we talked about that very instance with Kirby Smart. What if Thomas goes down? They was kind of puzzled. They didn't, they've got good depth here, but it's being seriously tested. Holly?
Well, guys, after that interception and DJ Lagway threw the 40-yard ball to Mizell came over to the sideline and said to DJ Lagway, the safeties don't know, meaning these safeties that are out right now. Dan Jackson knows everything about this defense for Georgia, and these replacements just not seeing it right now. Florida's very aware that the back end is mixed up, and they're trying to take advantage of it.
Yeah, it's KJ Bolden back there that wants to be sure to communicate. That was Malachi Starks, a 3-year starter, who had his eyes in the wrong spot there. So it's communication being tested in a big way. And now Thomas is out, at least for a few plays. Hopefully he'll get back in.
There's one guy you need to be steady back there. It's Starks,
yes.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
One veteran there and breaking tackles. Baugh knocked down right near the marker by Starks. It's enough for a first down.
Kyron Jones, who hadn't played a lot of football, is now in the game at that nickel spot. Like you said, Chris, this depth is being tested. Now you can move Malachi Starks down. He has that kind of versatility, but for now he is still back on the back end with the young freshman. There's Starks and Bolden next to him.
Lagway didn't lack confidence with that touchdown pass. No doubt gives him a boost. So this is what he does really well. Big fella at 240. Just throws a man down with a stiff arm. That was Bolden, and a solid gain on first down, about 8.
Well, that backup safety who's in the game right now, he's right here, and that's who he's reading on the edge of this defense. And when he bites down, Jones bites down, this is what you have to defend. And if he gets a block, a better block by the receiver, Badger, and he would have been able to go downfield and picked up way more positive yards. Definitely a first down.
See the power of Lagway. And he's got the football, makes a cut. He's not explosive, not sudden, but moves really well for a big man. When he gets an open space, he's hard to get down. It's another first down.
Yeah, same play. They just run it the other way. This time reading, I think that was Ingram Dawkins, 93. But back-to-back zone reads, reminding this defense that the quarterback is a threat in the run game. Like you say, more of a powerful runner, but still got to account for him. That's when they can get to their play-action game, downfield shots. Get the eyes into the backfield, worrying about him.
Baugh again bounces it. Dogs give up the edge, and Baugh again a huge gain. They're way ahead in the pitch count this series. Pick up 8 more on first.
Yeah, you got around Damian Wilson, 10, who was setting the edge there for the Dogs defense. But this is what Florida wants. You know, you want to pull off an upset, you got to win special teams. They had a 60-yard punt that pinned Georgia back earlier. Turnovers, they're +2. Win in the red zone. They're being able to hold Georgia to a field goal. Big plays, good plays on 1st and 10. Keep away from 3rd and long for the young freshman. Doing everything you need to do here in this first half.
Baugh's got it, makes a cut. And the freshman rumbling, filling in for Montrell Johnson and doing a great job. Bolden eventually got him down.
Look at this long ride. He's trying to make his mind up on watch how long this takes. Fake to the receiver, gives it to the back. By the way, that's, again, to remind people, true freshman quarterback handing off to a true freshman running back against that Georgia defense. Pretty good composure there and a nice powerful run there by Ball.
What did he do in his first college start? Ran for 5 touchdowns against Kentucky. This game, that's a heck of a debut. That time he tried to get outside and slipped, and he'll lose about a yard before Chambliss made the play.
He's every bit at 230. One of the coaches told me they think he might be up even closer to 240. But it's one thing to have the physical ability. It's another thing to come into a rivalry game against a Georgia defense, and the game is moving so fast, to be able to play under control.
Not bad for a guy that most schools wanted to put at linebacker. Georgia worked him out.
Yeah.
He said, I'm going to play running back. I like toting the ball, and he's
good for him,
showing his skills. Jacoby Jackson spells him. Lagway on the move, flips it to the end zone. Now just threw it away. Nobody open there, and Michael Williams was coming after him.
He had great defense there. Took every option that he had here. Now we just talked about keeping him out of 3rd and long. Cannot wait to see what Glenn Schumann and Kirby Smart come up with here in the red zone. 3rd down here in 11. Are they going to dial up pressure or rely on their front with Walker and Williams? Get home. They're going to keep them both on the same side. Off to the quarterback's left. The defense is right. You have 13 and 11. 2 of the best rushers in the country.
2 receivers to each side. Jackson is the back, and now he goes in motion. Lagway against a 4-man rush. Long throw incomplete off the hands of Boardingham, and they'll send out the field goal team.
Yeah, tight man coverage, even just rushing the 4. What a luxury, being able to rush 4 and then have still enough to have a spy with C.J. Allen in case they try to have the quarterback create. So everything locked down, those last 2 plays by the Dogs defense.
9 plays to move it to 37 yards. Trey Smack from 32 to make this a 7-point Florida lead. All 10 points off of Carson Beck interceptions. The first career interception by Aaron Gates set up Florida that time. And here in Beck's hometown of Jacksonville, it's the underdog Gators up on the Dogs by a touchdown. Surprising first quarter and a half here in Jacksonville. Goodyear bringing us the aerial coverage. Goodyear, road tested and game ready. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear's more driven. Not the traditional student sections in this environment, but the Taco Bell Live Más student section of the year contest lives on. You like right there? With
far right's ready to roll. Getting after it today.
Taco Bell app to learn more. Yeah, preparation begins early here. It's you know, it's not quite the same as it was the old Gator Bowl. They still have the landing at the home? No, the landing's gone.
It's gone.
The landing is gone.
So I see, that's how long it's been since we've been.
You know, I was wandering around last night. Where's the landing? Where have you been? They paved over that thing.
You're like, oh, let me tell you something. Back when Spurrier was the coach.
Tell you something. Back when we were trying to prepare for game day down there at the landing, and the hotel was right in the middle of Party Central, and the band was going. And
you were making notes.
Fortunately, I needed to be up late anyway, but there was like a frat sorority mixer in the hallway right outside of my door.
I'll tell you, the band back in those days, I don't care if you're on the 15th floor, it got all the way up there.
It did.
No problem.
And then some, no problem. Quieter, I don't know, more chill environment these days.
Good to see Carson Beck with a little smile. Hopefully he's got those miscues behind him.
This is a test of that composure. Last year against the Gators in his hometown here, never really tested. It was pretty easy breezy. They had control of the game, won big. He didn't throw a pick. 300-yard game, little different start to this one.
Well, I'll tell you what happens when you're a team like Florida. You're 4-3. It's lost 6 of 7 to Georgia. Georgia's one of the Goliaths. You have a team that has to go out there and make plays. And right now, Aaron Gates, 13, he's been all over the field, a lot of it against the run, just seeing things quickly, able to come up. Then he was the beneficiary of a poor decision here by Beck, stepped in front of that, made a nice play. So keep an eye on 1-3 out there in white, playing well today.
It's the coverage where it counts, brought to you by T-Mobile 5G home internet. Coverage has been good for this Gators team that doesn't have their best cover guy. And Jason Marshall is out, so Moore and Gates have interceptions so far. Frazier in the flat. Gators close him down, but he picks up about 3 or 4 in first down. Tyreek Sapp, the big guy on the edge, made the stop.
A little smack there at the end of that play. I don't know if that was just a friendly little smack or the true freshman letting Florida's defense know he didn't care for a little bit of a push when he was down. He was 94 Sapp. Watch this little smack. That's more than a little smack. Bill, how do you guys handle that? A guy smacks a guy in a rivalry game like that. Is it just let it go, a little warning, or?
I think you pick up that type of thing in a rivalry game. That's over the edge. You need to get on it right away.
There's the fired up Frazier knocked down. I talked to the officials before the game. They're well aware of the emotions that over the years have kind of boiled over. It's been an ornery game. There's been plenty of tempers flare.
You talked about a lot of these guys from this region. My man Nate Frazier's from Mater Dei out in California. He's feeling that rivalry in this game, smacking Gators' heads like that. Big third down.
You know, Lagway's from Texas, Frazier from California. Recruiting has changed. It's not just guys from this region making up these two rosters. It's obviously two programs that recruit nationally much more than they used to. Beck trying to convert on third down. There's plenty of time. Now he's running out of it, and he'll be sacked. A coverage sack by the Gators, and eventually Derek Wingo dropped him, and Florida gets off the field again with another stop.
They went with a high-low into the boundary. It's where his eyes go initially, here and then underneath, but Florida does a good job of taking that away. Watch his eyes. He looks. Then he doesn't have an answer on the backside, and because he's thrown a couple picks here early in this game, he's not going to try to just come back to the left and just try to throw one to a tight window. Now he's holding on to the football. So how about the Gators playing some defense today?
Inspired effort. Thorson boots it. It's a line drive that drives DK back to the 25, and he makes the fair catch. So the Gators with 5:14 before halftime will try to add to this lead. Weeknight tomorrow, 10 Eastern, Sunday NFL Countdown, and Monday at 6. Monday Night Countdown crew gets you ready for the Bucks and the Chiefs, the 2-hour show from Arrowhead. Travis Kelce of the Chiefs wanted to do a jersey swap with the ex-Dog star Brock Bowers. That's when you know you've made it. When you know Kelce's going, hey, young fella, let's trade jerseys after the Raiders played the Chiefs. Pretty cool.
No doubt about that. Georgia's defense trying to get the Georgia fans fired up here. They need a spark, and they're so talented. Spark could come at any moment.
Lagway running all the way, dives down after about 3. Holly, what do you have?
Guys, good news for Georgia's defense. Ja'Cory Thomas can return to this game. He's got a left quad injury. I saw him on the bike working it out. Saw an athletic trainer give him some kind of oral medication, but he can return, and that's important because they're running thin in that secondary from a depth standpoint.
You got 2 guys down on the field. Bolden, KJ Bolden got up slowly, and that's Lagway clutching the back of his leg.
Grabbed that left hamstring when he got done. His body just kind of fell awkwardly right away. He grabs onto that left hamstring area.
It's not an area of the leg you want a star player to be touching. The field a little choppy here. Remember, it was an issue last year. Injury pre-game.
You know, of course, Graham Mertz is out, so you're looking down at the transfer from Yale, Aiden Warner, who would be the quarterback that would more than likely come in here.
Shamar James of the Gators. Remember that the sod was kind of loose. He was warming up and injures himself before the game.
Yep.
This was just a slip.
Oh man.
There is Warner. Came from Yale. They've been impressed how he's picked things up. When you see him on the field, he didn't look very impressive in practice, but they were impressed when he started processing things.
He has not let go of that left hamstring yet. With that left hand, still holding on to it.
Injury is such a huge part of this Gators season.
They're actually bringing a card out for him now.
Wow.
I mean, this season has turned around for Florida with the way their defense has played since the bye. There's a look at Graham Mertz, who's already out. He's been such an instrumental leader despite his injury, but the defense has played well. Lagway coming in as a runner and a deep ball passer. So now you got to change suddenly from, just hate to see this.
This definitely does not look good. As you said, clutching the hamstring and not able to put weight on that leg. Mertz had a concussion in the first game against Miami. Then he came back. He had a non-contact ACL. After he threw a touchdown pass, just kind of skipping away, ACL gives out, ending his career. That was on the same series as Montrell Johnson suffered an injury against the Vols. It's been snake bit season. What a shame.
Whole team's coming over to give him some love. This guy, for you that have not been around Florida, not only a talented player, but every single person you talk to with Florida, how much they all love him and what a solid person he is off the field. So you can, anytime an entire team comes out, it's not just the injury, it's how they obviously feel about him.
Just one little slip, and something gave way in that leg. We'll get information as it's provided, but that is not a good sign as Lagway is carted to the Florida locker room. Georgia fans showing class here on their feet, applauding Kirby Smart. You see was out there near where they're tending to him.
Yeah, you're looking at Russ Callaway and Billy Napier, offensive minds. They're shifting gears now. You know, they've got to go back to that Graham Mertz kind of approach, which is effective but very different from who they've been since they've been growing in these last 3 weeks with DJ Lagway.
Warner's from Florida, as we said, went to Yale. Only action, 3 pass attempts, completed 2 of them mop-up duty against Kentucky when Lagway came out in a big victory, and he comes in 2nd and 7. Facing a Georgia defense that's eager to make a play, try to turn things back their way. His first play is going to be a pass attempt, and he's going to go right down the field, and it's overthrown. It was Marcus Burke. Julian Humphrey in coverage, so they take a shot in this first play.
Yeah, everybody on Georgia probably thinking they're going to go with a run. Instead, they do take a shot. Good coverage, not surprised there by Humphrey's in position, the safety coming over. I mean, think about this. Graham Mertz had so much experience at Wisconsin. He goes down, played here last year at Florida. There he is. He goes down, Lagway, true freshman, and now you go to a transfer from Yale.
Who faces a 3rd and 7. Warner trying to make a play on the move. Still got the ball. Going to run for it. Flag is out as he's knocked out of bounds short of the marker back in the offensive pit area.
Another hold by Barber, the left tackle. Nothing against Yale. Yale's a great program. I'm just saying that, you know, you're going from a true freshman to now a transfer from a smaller school.
You're also going from the bench. You get, getting like 3rd team reps a lot of the season.
3rd guy, yeah.
2nd team reps since Mertz went out.
Holding. Offense, number 58. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
And you're facing Georgia, so
yeah,
it's a tough assignment for Aiden Warner.
When you talked to Billy Napier, you said, you know, or maybe it's Russ Callaway. There's the hold right there on Allen by the left tackle. I thought it was interesting. He said, you know, when he first got here, we were just kind of wondering if he was going to be able to adjust to the SEC speed. And then when he got into some scrimmages, he started to really show what he could do. We were really impressed. So, but he'll be challenged. Obviously, this best defense in college football.
He's not a grad transfer. He's just a redshirt freshman, so he wasn't at Yale that long. No. Washaw's punt is a boomer, and the drive starts all the way back to the 11-yard line where he makes a fair catch. Good hang time and 56 yards. As the punting duel we expected is unfolding.
They have a 60-yard net earlier, now a 56. Again, Florida special teams doing what they need to do to continue to push Carson Beck back. He's back inside his own 15-yard line. Remember, Florida deferred. So it's a big 3:52 left here at the end of this first half. The Gators will get the ball to start the second half.
The vibe has changed here. The energy's out of the place. Florida's happy that they've got the lead, but obviously concerned to see the quarterback carted up. Georgia fans just wondering if Carson Beck can get on track here. A couple of picks, and they went 3 and out in the last series, and they give it to Etienne. When in doubt, toss it to number 1, but not much space. Picks up a couple.
I'll tell you, man, they are doing a really good job. They do a nice job of rotating like a lot of teams do. They play with an attacking front. You know, they'll rotate 10 or 11 guys up on that defensive line. One time Brian Taylor, 33, who's getting a chance to play, ran that play down from the inside out.
It's weird in here, isn't it? I mean, it's just quiet.
It's very quiet. It's
on
quiet.
both sides.
It is.
Beck took a look and then takes off, and will slide down feet first at the 25 for a first down. Picked up 10 on the scramble.
Frazier comes out of the backfield, so watch what happens to the defense when they see this. They think, oh, let's get out there. Both backers go. There's just nobody there. Good job of covering. But the last thing you're thinking about is Carson Beck doesn't do this a lot. He doesn't. I mean, he may move around in the pocket, but very rarely does he take off and get yards like that for a first down.
Frazier, the middle. Again, you're talking about a guy that played 3 years without starting, backed up Stetson Bennett, watched Dogs, teammates older than he was, winning national championships, waiting his turn. You know, last year, things are on course, but then loses the first time as a starter to Alabama in the SEC championship game. So driven to come back this season, and all their goals are still in play. And there's still chapters to be written, but this is not the way Carson Beck envisioned it. The game in his hometown. Wobbly throw across the middle. Oscar Delp goes down and make the catch. It's enough for a first down.
Should mention they've gone back to that original starting lineup up front. Ernest Green, Fairchild, Wilson, Morris, and Truss. Remember when he threw that pick, they were reshuffling some of the guys, but back to that original lineup up front.
2-minute timeout. Gators up 10-3. Minute 59 of the first half. Time for the Aflac trivia question. All right, Kirk, here we go. Since 2000, 2 starting quarterbacks with a 3-0 record in this rivalry. Who are they? It's not Tebow. I know he didn't. Leak started maybe one of those, and they lost one of those. They lost 1 year.
7, 8, 9. 07, 8, 9.
I'm thinking Spurrier era.
Well, they said since 2000.
I'm going to say one of them is Sexy Rexy Grossman. They were winning games.
That's a good one.
I don't know. Yeah. I have no idea who the other would be. Maybe it's a Georgia guy.
Hold on a
complete back on the run. Check this out too. Trevor Etienne heading to the Georgia locker room.
That's why we've been seeing so much of Nate Frazier. It's great to see him walk. I mean, he looks like he's feeling okay as far as his legs, but for some reason he's in there. So you're rotating. You're getting a little bit of Cash Jones, but a lot of Nate Frazier, the freshman.
And Lagway out of the game. So many high-profile players today injured coming in, and the injuries piling up within the game. And the pitch trying to get to the edge. And Frazier picks up a solid gain. It's going to set up 3rd and 3. Dijon Johnson, one of those guys stepping in as the starting corner, made the play.
For looking down at my notes, the very first thing talking to Mike Bobo this week was we got to get Trevor Etienne going. You know, coming off that Texas game, having a bye, felt that, you know, the way Florida plays defense, where they put safeties back, we got to win the line of scrimmage, we got to run the football, get those safeties to come down, and then let Beck go to work. And now Etienne goes down, and now it's more about Frazier.
Here comes the pressure. They're down, and it's batted down for the second time. So Beck, interception problems, and also the Gators batting passes away. That's big Cam Jackson. And this Gator defense gets another stop. Here comes the punt team.
Yeah, they brought 7 that time, but you're right, Chris. We saw Castile earlier knock a ball down off of a blitz, and this time big Cam Jackson, who is 6'6", 342. Doesn't have much vert, but he doesn't need to. When he's that size, he can time it up.
So minute 43.
It's been like watching a different Gator defense the last 3 games, from where they were early in the year to now.
Their losses are all to top 10 teams, and 2 teams went to Gainesville and blew them out. Cam Ward overwhelmed them. Marcel Ward was the quarterback for the Aggies. They won big there. Tennessee was a tough battle in Knoxville.
Yep.
Chance to check in with Kevin Nagandi. Hey, Kevin.
Chris, hey, how are you? Capital One halftime report minutes away. Booger McFarland, Kevin Nagandi in studio. So Ohio State wins a big one in Happy Valley. Down goes undefeated Penn State. Meanwhile, Miami comes back. Iowa State in trouble. Highlights coming your way. What's Carson Beck seeing?
Really good job by this Florida defense, showing them a lot of zone coverage. And Beck is not anticipating really well. And then when they play man, they're bringing pressure on him. Carson Beck looks very uncomfortable right now.
Much more coming up at the half. Back to you guys.
Kevin, thank you. Appreciate that. Aiden Warner trying to get comfortable. He's a guy that grew up in Florida. Parents both went to Florida, so he's a Gator fan. Went to Yale, as we said. Preferred walk-on back here in Gainesville, and suddenly thrust into this situation, trying to protect a lead from the 6-yard line here. Walk-on quarterback, freshman running back, just trying to get on the same page as the play clock winds down. Ball off the left side. Do you keep it super simple if you're Russ Callaway?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Georgia knows that. They're going to use their 3 timeouts here. If Gators decide to run, they already used their first. Man, I don't know this answer to this question. I like the Rex Grossman, though.
Who's the other one,
2000.
though? Since 2000, athletic trivia question. Answer since 2000. Who went 3-0 as a starter?
Chris Leak up there? I'm going to go Chris Leak.
I'm going to say one of them's got to be a Georgia quarterback. We got Grossman.
Oh, you got it.
Jake Fromm. Those are the years when the Dogs had it rolling.
Yeah.
It's rivalry. Gators were going through some kind of a coaching carousel at that time. Billy Napier, this would just be enormous. I mean, a long, long way to go to pull a massive upset. But Florida's starting off this gauntlet where you get 3 top 10 teams, 4 top 20 teams in the next 4. You got at Texas next week. That's all you got to do. Go to Austin, LSU, and then Ole Miss.
You think it's
those are the next 3 games?
Toughest schedule in the country.
Incredible.
Top to bottom.
Yeah. Mentioned already facing and losing to 3 teams currently in the top 10. 2nd and 9. Georgia fans making it loud on this inexperienced quarterback who delivers a long throw and a huge hit, and a flag comes in as Daniel Harris leveled DK, and they'll no doubt look at this for targeting.
He saw soft coverage to DK, and that's why he took this shot.
Defense number 7. The previous play is under video review.
They review all these targetings, but again, it's Dan Jackson, Danilo Aguero out for this half because of targeting in the last game.
Well, this is a play because of this poor block. Badger looks inside. He does a terrible job there of doing his assignment, which is taking the closest man up to the line of scrimmage. He looked inside to the safety. It made it easy for Harris to make this play. Now we ask Bill, with a defenseless player there, Bill, did he get him in the chest or did he get him too high?
I thought he went more to the side, got him up in the shoulder area. I would not like to see targeting here. I say no.
Didn't use the crown of the helmet, you don't feel?
Well, and again, a defenseless player, I think he gets him in the chest or on the side, like you said.
Yeah, I don't see the crown of the helmet on it, but I see it going across the chest.
I agree. I think live it certainly looked like it. That looked like a
Bill, coach me up there, Bill. What is he supposed to do there? Just so he doesn't.
I think the defender did exactly what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
He did not drop his head.
Yeah.
He went across the body. He didn't go up and launch into the neck head area.
I think we all agree that was great form. That was great job. I'd be interested.
Definitely suspect, but
I love the fact because you'll usually err on the side of conservative. The fact that you're letting this one go, I appreciate that.
He errs on the side of correct. Come on, man.
I appreciate that.
But gray area, he'll usually go with the flag. That's Bill.
Come on. Well, John Allman, it was a nice visit to the booth. He's the replay official. Of course,
After
they're working with
review,
the replay
there
center.
was no foul for targeting.
Yeah, here we go.
It will be
playing
third
football
down
around here.
and 7.
Playing football.
Dogs fans saying hallelujah.
A video review inside of 2 minutes constitutes a 10-second runoff. Georgia has elected to use their second timeout to prevent a runoff. It'll be 3rd down at the 7-yard line.
I just pull whenever you see it, unless it's so obvious. If it's that gray area, I always pull for the defender for the sake of, I still love physicality.
In a gray area, for sure.
Well, yeah, it's just, well, I'm just saying when a guy, obviously, like Georgia, when they played Texas, they had 2 that were pretty easy to call. But that was just a great play by Daniel Harris. Really poor attempt of a block by Elijah Badger.
And we're going to see Jackson and Aguero get back in this game after halftime.
Now they showed the trust to throw it. He read it right. He had the soft coverage, so that would dictate to throw that ball out there to that slot receiver. Just if he gets a block out on the edge, he gets some positive yards there.
See Ja'Cory Thomas back in the game. Harris staying in the game, of course. And serious test for Aiden Warner. Let's see if they continue to show trust on 3rd and 9.
Well, you got Georgia to use their second timeout with that 10-second runoff. So more than likely, you're going to have to run the football here, try to get Georgia to use their 3rd timeout or a high percentage throw with the 3rd-string quarterback here in Warner.
High percentage throw and then try to get some yards after the catch.
Look what Georgia's done across the board. They've tightened up the coverage to take away those easy throws.
And they'll hand the ball off and rely on their punter, Damon Wilson, making the tackle behind the line. And the Dogs do stop the clock with 1:17, and they'll be set up in pretty good field position, you'd think.
So talented off the edge. Michael Williams on the other side. 10. Wilson ends up making a play, but Michael Williams won as well. They just both pinched. They were expecting a run of some kind, and the Dogs, boy, when they know what's coming, you don't have any chance of executing.
Certainly need Jeremy Crawshaw to do his thing, averaging more than 46 yards per punt in his career. Starks is standing right near the 50-yard line. Georgia doesn't come after it and try to set up a return. It's a high boot, and Starks waves for a fair catch in Gator territory at the 48. Monday Night Football. Baker Mayfield, the Buccaneers, taking on Mahomes and the undefeated Kansas City Chiefs. 7-0. How long can they keep it going? They're going to threaten the perfect season deep into the second half, the Chiefs?
I say they always got a shot, right? And they're only getting stronger. They're picking up some better players to help Patrick Mahomes out.
So Beck, it's been a rough first half. Got off to a sharp start, but then interceptions on back-to-back possessions, setting up all 10 of Florida's points so far. Now great field position. Out of timeouts, but 1:13. No TN again. It's Cash Jones at the back. And Beck flips it down, and Jones eludes the man and gets that in space, and they'll like that matchup. Running back there in space. Picked up 13.
Yeah, they love that matchup because anytime you can get a linebacker who's walked up to kind of show that he's blitzing, you get him matched up one-on-one, you're going to win that every time. There was Jaden Robinson. Walked him up there, made it tough for him to get back outside. Jones very good out of the backfield catching a football. And with ETN down, we're getting more and more of an opportunity for both Frazier and Jones.
Late pressure, back, high throw off the hands of Dylan Bell. Certainly catchable, but a late runner came at Beck at time.
They ended up bringing 13 Gates, but he got this ball off well before the pressure. Another drop. Ball's right through his hands, a little high. That's a ball that Bell normally would catch. But again, keep in mind, they're out of timeouts. 1:02 left. Anytime you're going to catch that football, there's a good chance Florida's able to tackle him inbounds.
Gators crowding the line. Rush only 4, and Beck looks downfield. Tried to throw a back shoulder fade to Bell that time. And Dijon Johnson, they call him Mustard. Dijon.
Yeah.
Good.
You know what? Mustard played really well here. Look, I mean, that's against Bell. Look at his speed there. I mean, he's in phase, meaning he is stride for stride right next to Bell.
Making his first start today.
Yeah,
again
doing a
with
heck of a job.
Jason Marshall out, so it's 3rd and 10.
Good size, 6'1", 200 pounds, had safety support behind him, allowed him to be a little bit more aggressive, but he was right there in position. See if Florida dials up heat on 3rd down, which they've been doing a lot of with these backers, or if they're just showing it and backing out.
In field goal range, got to hurry here, just got the snap off, back over the middle, and it's caught and then dropped off the hands, almost a 3rd interception. Gates was over there in the area, then Smith got his hands on it.
Well, we just circle these backers and they bring them, and it looked like Shamar James ended up getting home, but look at this decision again. Look where he's throwing this football. This ball's coming out, and there's a Gator right there waiting for it. Almost comes up with a 3rd interception on the day for the Gators defense.
So instead, chance to pick up 3 as Peyton Woodring trots out for a 53-yard attempt. He would be within a couple yards of his career long. Kicked a 55-yarder earlier against Clemson. Man,
it's right.
Puzzling first half. You come out and the focus is on Beck back in his hometown. You think he's going to settle down and overcome the interception problems. Instead, as you said, almost through a 3rd there. DJ Lagway, focus of the Florida offense, carted off. Etienne's out of the game right now.
Yeah. You got 2 of the high-profile names out. You got Lagway out. You mentioned Etienne. Now it's going to be a game of adjustments here at halftime. How does this first half end? Florida, even though they've lost their playmaker, the guy they built their offense around for the second half, they got to be happy with not just a lead, but now they got to figure out, guys, we can't go into 4 corners and just try to hold on. You know that Kirby's dogs are going to come alive in the second half. You see it all the time. So you got to come up with a plan to be able to move the football with a quarterback that hadn't played a lot. That's a tough thing to prepare.
Woodring trying to salvage something. It's already been a disappointing series. You take over at the +48, and instead of getting the drive going, you go basically 3 and out and settle for a 53-yard field goal. Great job by Woodring to bang it through into the hold it back. And so it's a 10-6 Florida lead.
Well, at least they were able to get the points here near the end of this first half. Florida, you would think, will just sit on this. It's getting the ball to start the second half. These kickers, you watch them in the NFL, 53-yarders just almost become ho-hum. But even in college, we're seeing these guys get out at 50. Look at Kirby. He is feeling it today.
Is Beck the only holder in college football who drives a Lamborghini? I'm going to say he probably is.
It's probably safe to say, yeah.
Part of his NIL deal. Holly, what do you have?
Well, guys, you talk about the rivalry and how it's changed over time with players from all around the country. But Billy Napier does something called Rivalry 101. He makes the kids watch these elaborate videos, listen to the greats on what these games mean. Every player I talked to this week from Florida said, oh, no, we know about the rivalry. We've learned from our coach. We know how special this is. They've played well so far in this first half.
They have. It's been a series, as you know, Holly, that hasn't really lent itself to huge upsets. You've never had an unranked team beat a top 5 team. So that's the setup coming in today. Never happened in the history of this Georgia-Florida game. Favorites have generally taken care of business, and it's been the dogs taking care of business in recent years. This would be an enormous win. If a long way to go, the circumstances, you don't have your quarterback who was your 3rd string quarterback beginning of the season, and Awaka now trying to
this is where you
protect this lead.
He has had a chance with the injury to Graham Mertz to get second team reps, which means, he's seeing good defense when he's in practice, and you hope that all that preparation he's had will help him as far as the speed of the game against this Georgia defense.
It would be surprising to most if they did something other than just hand the ball off here and get to halftime. Play clock down to 2. And that's Jackson falling for about 9. Gators do have a couple timeouts if they choose.
And see, that's going to be what you're going to see in the second half. I mean, you're going to put this game on the back of your offensive line, which, according to what they told us this week, after the bye, that's what they did anyway. They said, guys, we're going to sink or swim with our attitude up front to run the football and take the pressure off of DJ Lagway. Now, different kind of system, but it's the same thought. They're going to tell them, remind them, guys, we got this guy, hadn't played a lot. Let's win it up front. Let's run the football and take the pressure off this kid.
Here's how it happened. DJ Lagway, immediately after this tackle here, kind of slipped on the turf there. I think that's where the problem was. His foot gave out and right away clutched that hamstring.
Yeah, instantly.
That step right there. That was the response by his teammates as he got on the cart and was taken to the locker room. Again, Holly will work to see what information, if any, we can get.
So they ran the football, and then Florida calls a timeout. 34 seconds.
They'll run it again, and Jackson has some space. Look out. Jackson rumbles into Georgia territory. They still have one timeout left. 28 seconds to go, and against all odds, the Gators threatening to do something with this possession. We got 18 there.
Yeah, what a job here with Russ Callaway. Look at this play, this formation. Most of the Georgia defense, once you motion, this man went over, defender followed him. Look back here. Look how many defenders are back here. And that's a nice job by the offensive line, but really an assist to me by the formation. C3 coming over there a little bit late, CJ Allen. But that's a good job of just the execution of a team that called a time. And you don't see that. Back-to-back runs and have a shot that maybe get into field goal range.
Well, you see Smack, if they get about 15 more yards, they're within his range to add to this lead before halftime. Hand it off again. Jackson, a lot of grit and move the pile. He's using up some seconds, and they'll finally blow it dead after about a 7-yard gain.
Big Austin Barber got behind him there, was pushing. Harris, the left guard, pushing. You're going to have to use that last time out with 17 seconds to go here. But they're close. I mean, I think they were content with just running the football and getting out of here.
Absolutely. Everybody in the world thought that pin back with his quarterback, that we're just going to run the ball, get to halftime. He said they get the ball, begin the third quarter. Instead, Smack's in, just give me a chance. Just get a little bit closer.
You're like 5 yards away from giving this guy a shot. Now the trick is 19 seconds out of timeouts. You can see the green line. I mean, it's maybe even less than 5 yards, about 3 yards. So your options here are you run the football because it's been working to the left. You tell your special teams unit, field goal unit, hey, as soon as this play's over, everybody run out and we're just going to line it up and kick it. Or you're going to throw a quick pass out towards the perimeter where you can have a chance to get out of bounds.
It's a pretty stiff breeze pregame blowing right to left as you watch it here, but it's died down. I don't see much of a breeze evident in the flags at the top of the goalpost. So Smack, as you said, great name, by the way, Trey Smack. He's got a shot here.
Smack went in. Gators run game, first half, almost averaging 5 yards a carry against Georgia's defense. 20 runs, 95 yards. A lot of that here on this drive, actually.
It's been crucial because the pass game, other than the long touchdown reception by Masel, hasn't been present today.
Expect Georgia to get up tight the way they are. Just try to take away those quick outs where they can get out of bounds. They're going to try to run and they go quick field goal.
Tried to get a hard count to get 5 yards. Dogs didn't bite. And Warner throws a slant, and it's enough to move the sticks. Marcus Burke with his 4th catch of the season went down low.
I can't believe that actually got in there. I think Harris gave up on the play thinking that it was no way they're going to catch this.
Did he keep his hands below the football? Tremendous job by Burke, who's a tall receiver. He's also a Jacksonville guy. Yeah, he touched the ground. That angle shows.
Great look at it there. By the way, anytime you throw that, I mean, usually you think the corner is going to step right. It was thrown right where he wanted it as a corner. For some reason, I don't know if he lost the ball or whatever, but he just seemed to almost give up on the play.
So now it's 4th down. They aren't going to send out the field goal team. Going to try to convert here and then perhaps kick a field goal on first down. Wheels are turning as Napier tries to add to this 4-point lead. Warner delivers a shot in traffic. The catch is made. They got to hurry up and
now
get
they
down
can
there and spike the ball.
Yeah, just spike it. Clock will stop with the first down, so they're going to have plenty of time.
That's a tremendous job. First on the throw and the catch, and then everybody hustling up there. They spike it very quickly. And Trey Smack is going to have a chance.
Hey, that was an illegal formation. Every single guy was on the line. You got to have, including the quarterback. I can't see if we look at from a side view here. I don't know if they had enough guys in a backfield. But nothing is called on the field. I thought it might have been an illegal formation.
It is something you could look at. He wanted to buzz down, but Smack, meanwhile, this drive gives him a shot from 53, and he will drive it through. Wow. Impressive use of the clock and poise, and Aiden Warner, Jacoby Jackson, this offensive line move the ball 40 yards in 40 seconds and add to the lead.
Yeah, unbelievable job here. As you say, Chris, I think Florida just looking to work this clock, be happy with the lead, get the ball to start the second half, but they're able to run the football for the most part down and get in position for Smack to put it through. But I think they may have caught a break on the play before where they didn't have any of their receivers in the backfield. They were all lined up on the line of scrimmage.
Move that field goal line back for Smack. That would have been good for 58.
Yeah, but
so the far top of the formation.
Yeah.
Have him off the line?
Well, this isn't. It was the play. This is the completion. It was the play after that. That's where they hit the slant, got the first down. It was the next play when they tried to fire the ball into the ground. Let's. I think we got it now. Look at that.
10 on the line.
Yeah, you have one guy in the backfield.
Kurt, if I could interject, there's no requirement on that.
Okay.
You can't have more than 4 in the backfield, but you can put everybody on the line.
Okay, but not any more than 4. Okay.
You never see that. When have you ever
rare.
seen 10 on the line?
Yeah.
But what an eventful and in some ways deflating first half. Lagway goes out, but the Gators lead by a touchdown. Trevor Etienne not in there for Georgia. Back a couple of interceptions. It's just been, you never know in this rivalry game. Weird things have happened.
The thing you could say, though, is Aiden Warner, as far as just knowing what to do and not letting the moment be too big. I mean, he's up at the line of scrimmage. He's looking at the defense. He's making checks. He's getting into the right play. I mean, he's in command of the system and clearly very well prepared coming into this game, even though he's behind Lagway.
He had that slant, an important completion to get Smack closer, and it's 13-6. Billy Napier's big underdog Gators up on their rivals by a touchdown at the break. Holly?
Well, Coach, what happened with DJ Lagway?
He's got a hamstring, pretty significant one, but he's a tough kid. But look, I can promise you one thing, this team will rally behind him for sure.
We already saw that. What changes with your play calling with Aiden Varner in there now for you?
Well, the Yale transfer, that's both parents are double Gators, right? So, you know, Aiden's impressed me, and he's earned that backup role, and he's had some great practices the last couple weeks. So we got to play well around him. We got to play with balance, and then he's got to be a good decision maker. We got to continue to play good on defense and find some place in the kicking game.
And then just quickly, that was textbook execution on that last field goal. How proud were you of that event?
A good situational football. You know, we told the team before the game, we know what the mission is, and we got the men to do it. And 13-6, we got 30 more minutes.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, gritty first half by Napier's Gators. Can they keep it going? This would stun the SEC if this result holds up. Halftime report coming up after these messages. You're watching the SEC on ABC. Surprising first half here in Jacksonville. Welcome back to the SEC on ABC. presented by Burger King. Heavy underdog Gators lead number 2 Georgia 13-6 at the break here in Jacksonville. A result that would be even more surprising because we tend to do it without DJ Lagway. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Holly Rowe, the talented freshman quarterback, went down clutching his hamstring. Significant is how Billy Napier described it. Didn't look to be anything serious, but watch his leg slip as he tries to work free right there. And that was it right there.
The left leg, as you said, he slipped, went out right away. The left hand grabbing on to that left hamstring. And this is a guy with a bright future in this sport. Be probably one of the faces of this sport down the road for Florida. And you can see his teammates who all, they love all these guys, but this guy has really been special to his team, helping turn their season around. And so he goes down, and a little bit of a shock to see. But Aiden Warner has kind of stepped in, the transfer from Yale, and he's got a 7-point lead to work with here in the second half. See if they can close this out.
Gators get the football first. Again, Lagway only playing because of a season-ending knee injury to Graham Mertz. Meanwhile, on the Georgia side, the concern is for Trevor Etienne, who left the game in the second quarter. Holly, what have you learned about that?
Well, Coach Kirby Smart told me he took a pretty significant shot to the rib. He is going to try to play here in the second half, but he's in a lot of pain, so they don't know how much or how effective he will be. He had a conversation with Trevor walking down the tunnel, coming back out, and it looks like he does want to play, but guys, it's a pain tolerance issue. Also talked to him about Carson Beck settling down. He said he's got to take what the defense gives him. He's just trying too hard, got to make some better throws and better decisions over the middle.
Good stuff, Holly. Meanwhile, Warner, this transfer from Yale, comes from the Orlando area, living his dream here. And the pass is incomplete on the crossing right, couldn't get it to DK. So you go from being a big Gator fan to being a Gator quarterback in the rivalry game against Georgia, trying to protect the lead.
Yeah, but again
Georgia New Haven.
Well, that's a little different, right? But watch him at the line of scrimmage, man. I feel like they love this outside zone. I think they feel like they have something. That was what we saw a lot of at the end of that first half, that drive that they had. He got them into field goal range to give them the 7-point lead.
2nd and 10 run off the left side. He's able to produce 7 yards.
Yeah, they keep working that outside, a double team on the edge, and then try to get up to the linebacker.
Georgia defense now does get back Dan Jackson, their stalwart safety, and Janelle Aguero, who plays the star position, suspended for the first half, but suddenly get 2 key guys back there. Dogs trying to get the football back to back, get off the field here on 3rd and 4. Ball is out, throwing it in traffic, incomplete. Warner tried to squeeze it in there to Mann, and Starks made the play, and it's 4th down.
They went with that bunch formation. They use that quite a bit, tried to sneak the back ball out of there, but unable to hit it. Georgia pretty good coverage there. Can imagine Kirby Smart at halftime, the energy that he talked with to get this team to lock in, understand what they need to do to be able to come back. I mean, one of the most intense, most competitive head coaches that there is.
Is this the same team that we saw clobber #1 Texas in Austin?
I have a theory on that.
Croshaw boots it deep. Starks with a chance. Close him down and knock him down at the 29, a 52-yard punt.
Yeah, Carson Beck's going to come out here to start this second half. If you're just tuning in, it's been a little bit of what we've seen at times this year, making poor decisions and forcing the football into tight coverage, especially this one where Gates stepped in front of their 2 Gators that could have picked them off. And then another near pick would have been the 3rd in the first half. You can see how frustrated he is. See what kind of adjustments Mike Bobo and this offensive staff makes. He's getting under center right here. They want to run the football. And they're going to start without Etienne. Holly just reported will be Frazier.
Yeah, the running game didn't really get going in the first half. Just 55 yards on the ground. Frazier has a little crease and accelerates for about 12.
See, that's what I thought we were going to see more of. They talked about how when they self-scouted it during the bye, they felt that they were too pass-heavy. They wanted to be able to go back and run the football. It's a nice little zone play. Opened up nicely. That right side is powerful.
Georgia's banged up in that running back room. Branson Robinson. He has a chance to return later. He has an MCL sprain. ETN out there. It's Frazier and Cash Jones going to carry the load right now.
Yep. I'll tell you, when they do want to run the football, that is a physical, big, long defensive line that they're running into. Probably the strength of this Gator defense, like most SEC teams, is up front with the depth they have.
Back on 2nd and 9. Hit as he throws. It's wobbly, and it's picked off again. Jack Pyburn there to pick it off, but Grayson Howard leveled back and made it a crazy, easy interception that time.
Wow, they brought the pressure, and I thought he might have a little bit of a feel for this pressure, but instead he just doesn't see it or feel it as the AT&T clicker. And watch this pressure. He comes clean. He hesitates for a second. I think that's what made the offensive line. They take 2-on-1. They got the big guy, but the backer comes clean and hits him. Ball's in the air. And of all people, it's Jack Pyburn, like you said, who's a defensive end, that ends up dropping into coverage on that zone pressure and makes the pick. The big fella showing some athletic ability there. Look, plays with so much emotion.
Sure does. Another Jacksonville guy. Some Jacksonville quarterback, Jacksonville linebacker picks him off, and the Gators at midfield trying to add to the 7-point lead. Jacoby Jackson makes a little cut. He got inside of Julian Humphrey, the corner, picks up about 7. 3 picks now. 3rd time this year he's thrown 3.
Yeah, they're trying to come up with an idea. That one obviously was about the blitz and him just not seeing it. It wasn't a poor decision. The ball, once he got hit, went up into the air. But they're looking at the tablet, trying to come up with answers on what they want to do.
It's the new tool, of course, you can do. Use that tablet. They better have a lot of stuff loaded in there, because there's a lot to talk about and a lot to look at. Short gain, now it's 3rd down.
So my theory on why they look the way they did against Texas and why they've looked like this, I think this team has won so much. This is just a 2024 team. They need to be told you don't have a chance. I think you're going to lose at Texas. To get them to feel, remember Kirby, the emotion that he had after that game? Everybody picked against him, all that fire. They came into this game, you're going to kill. Florida, is that still a rivalry? I just think they lose their edge because they've won so much. Not playing with that same edge today. At least not yet.
And the quarterback, Warner, tried to keep it. No chance on that zone read. The running back was going to get gobbled up, and then Everett knocks down the quarterback for a loss. It'll be 4th and 4.
Yeah, he's reading Williams. He makes the right read. He holds on to it a little long. Now it's disrupted, and this Florida the Georgia defense is just flying to the football.
It's Dalen Everett, the man who had the sack, forced a fumble, and recovered it against Ewers. Had an interception. Monster game in the win in Austin. Busy afternoon for Jeremy Crawshaw as the Aussie tries to pin the Dogs deep. Coverage team runs down there, and it's going to check up. Again, not exactly what he was hoping for. Like to have that ball land closer to the 5-yard line. Georgia will take over at the 17, trying to get their quarterback settled in. Kirby Smart wants his Dogs to wake up. He'll love Patton, Lawson Lucky, the tight end.
Everybody.
Watch this exchange. Now, who's going to get in with Beck?
Let's go. Let's go. I mean, Carson's just kind of locked in.
Look.
Yeah, straight ahead, just trying to lock in, trying to get things going here. See what Georgia does to get this thing into rhythm. With this offense, it can be at any moment.
This Gator defense feeling it. Is a reverse. Smith trying to get the edge, and Arian Smith is knocked down hard. Flying to the ball is Jordan Castell, the safety.
Boy, Castell, he came up. He gets hit, makes a huge hit.
That's how it sounded.
Big one.
Smith popped up, Castell down on the field. So Bobo going to the end around, trying to get an explosive, one of their faster players.
Yeah. Looked like most of that contact was right on that right shoulder for Castell.
Sophomore safety, one of their top tacklers. Talked about over the years these runs, the forceful personalities, as this tug war back and forth. Yeah, Spurrier won the Heisman Trophy in '66, but he threw 3 interceptions. And then Georgia scored a late touchdown to kind of run up the score. Final seconds there to win it by 17. Steve didn't like that. And then as a coach, he paid him back. This is a flea flicker late in a blowout.
That's Kirby right there making a tackle.
Yeah, this is to get half 100 between the hedges. That Kirby comes in there late in the touchdown. That was an intentional run up the score kind of thing, and enjoyed doing it.
We got half 100 on them, boys. That's what you wanted. We got it.
Love it. Long throw. Almost broke free. Dragged down the 30. First down. Denson got him down. Spurrier, one of those guys that turned it Florida's way. Kirby Smart takes this very personally. Lost twice to the Gators in the 8 meetings. Frazier makes a nice little cut and comes back to the middle for a 5-yard gain before Cam Jackson and Denson knocked him down. Little extra bounce for the Dogs offense here.
Going a little bit of tempo. I mean, not NASCAR tempo, but going a little bit of tempo, no huddle. And I think a lot of times that can help the quarterback. A quarterback that maybe is overthinking, quarterback that's overanalyzing in his mind. You can eliminate some of that by going a little bit faster. Again, they're just not huddling. They're not necessarily going that fast, but the coach can communicate up to 15 seconds into his headphones.
Beck steps in across the middle. Levitt's got it into Florida territory. One of the better balls he's thrown today.
Now, this is beautiful because he worked from his left, works through progressions, comes all the way back. Watch his eyes. Watch the head. Left, 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 come back. Opened up in the middle. Perfect throw.
Looks like it's Dijon Johnson, Kirk. Corner down on the field for Florida. They're checking him out.
And there's the eyes working from the backside back to the front. And it's not just about Carson Beck. It's about these receivers being able to pull away and get separation. Lovett that time did.
Here's Johnson. Intensity of this game. Expects injuries to play a role there. You saw Jason Marshall. His streak of 35 consecutive starts broken today. Johnson steps in his first career start alongside Devin Moore, who had a pick. Aaron Gates, reserve star player, his first career interception today.
Yeah, has played well. The whole secondary has. The whole defense has. I think we may have another, leg injury here for Florida. He's going to the locker room right away, and I think, like Lagway, as soon as he went down, he was in coverage and man coverage. As soon as he went down, like Lagway, he immediately grabbed the back of his leg. So you mentioned Marshall. Now you have Johnson that goes down.
Bryce Thornton in their backup corner, pressed into duty. First down from the 48.
Your fourth corner.
End around again. This time they try to get Bell around the right end, and Dylan Bell galloping into the secondary. Georgia's running game finally produces a huge play down in the red zone. Xavier Truss, big fella on the edge, sprung him.
Denson right here, and off the edge of this defense, they end up losing contain. You also see McCray there, who just had his eyes into the backfield. So those big linemen came pulling around. There's nobody there to block. So it was so much room there for the convoy to lead him down that right sideline. We said at any moment they can catch fire. A couple good throws by Carson Beck, and we got another Gator defender down.
33-yard gain. That's Sharif Denson. Plays that star position.
That's the third defender on this drive alone that's gone down.
Walking slowly, not to the locker room, thankfully, over to the sideline instead. Well, Georgia hasn't found the end zone yet. Set up at the 15-yard line with a first down.
Castell went down with what looked like maybe a stinger. The whole secondary. Johnson went down with a leg injury, and now Denson goes down as well. So the depth being tested for both these teams, but right now it's the Florida defense putting in some young players.
All kind of reserves. So Cormani McClain, corner, who had a big pick against Kentucky. Colorado transfer, he's out there. Bryce Thornton, you get a flinch from, looks like Truss.
Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
There's a limit to next man up, isn't there? I mean, wow, is this defensive depth being tested? Looks like Jordan Castell back on the field now. Notice that Caleb Banks, Holly was reporting on him. He's also back on the field as Frazier gets around the right end and is knocked out of bounds down near the 13.
Boy, how explosive is he? What a future he has for the Georgia offense. This kid's a true freshman. And I mean, immediately when he gets to the corner on that outside zone play, but he is able to. Clyburn, to me, looked like he was in pretty good position. 44, the defensive end. He just gave him a little stutter and got around him.
Not many guys go straight out of Compton and end up in Athens, Georgia. LA area recruit. You mentioned modern day powerhouse program, and he's ready for this moment. As Jones spells him on 2nd and 8. Beck across the middle, slant, bobbled, and caught eventually by Bell in the carom. 1st and goal, but dangerously close to another interception as that ball popped up into the air.
Yeah, I think it looked like McClain got a hand on that football. Who's just got into the game. Well, he may have missed. That ball may have initially gone off of Dylan Bell. But he was in position. He just didn't finish on the play. But what concentration to finish on the play there by Dylan Bell.
Wes Bridges was in the vicinity. Right, tremendous toughness and focus shown by Bell, who's made the big running play earlier on the end around in this drive. Now sets him up inside the 2 for the 1st and goal.
Yeah, man, I personally love how hands-on Kirby Smart is as the head coach. Nothing happens on this field without him being engaged with the visor. I mean, he's right
literally
there.
Hands-on.
Yeah.
I agree.
He is. Yeah, right. He's all over it.
He wanted his team to respond with some urgency, and they have on this drive. Frazier trying to get the Georgia first touchdown of the day, and he dives to the end zone. And did a little Gator chomp afterward. That's an impressive mark. Finally, Dogs fans have been waiting for to get 83 yards.
Well, this is what we've been looking for. A combination of being able to run the football when you want to. Here's the progressive pylon cam. Make sure he stretches it across, easily does. Combination of being able to run the football when you want to, and also Carson Beck having a nice drive there, making good decisions and making some accurate
the result
throws.
Of the play is a touchdown. After the touchdown, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense number 3 for taunting.
They got him at he did the Gator
will be
chomp
enforced on the kickoff.
Afterwards, and then the old throat slash. We've seen other teams over the years do that.
That's a no-no.
He's from California, but he's learned how to get it.
He's
after your arch rival.
Yeah, there's Walker putting his arm around him as a veteran. We're going to have a heck of a second half here.
Woodring ties the game midway 3rd quarter. So, quick look at what drew the flag. Kirby not happy about that, but he's happy about the job that he did running the football in that drive.
Yeah, that's a no-no.
Deadlocked at 13 in Jacksonville.
Telling him that's a selfish play.
You know, Dogs have gotten even. Remember, this is how the day started for Carson Beck. Just throws it up in the air. Interception there by Devin Moore. That set up a touchdown. And that was the next play after the takeaway, as a matter of fact. Gators took the lead. This is the injury to Lagway, a key moment of this game.
Yeah, turning point in the game. Obviously, you lose the guy that's been so responsible for the change, and your identity as an offense goes down. But they were still able to get a field goal, running the football down the field in that outside zone play. But you knew it was a matter of time till Georgia would get things going, and they have to tie this game after that nice drive.
Yeah, Beck 4 for 4 in the drive, Kirk, but it really was Bell, the 33-year-old end around, got it going, and then he made that juggling catch, set up down at the 2-yard line. So backed up 15 on the kickoff. There's a chance for a return here. And Jackson, the running back, is going to get out across the 30. So that's why Kirby Smart was so upset with his running back for that personal foul. Gators get pretty decent starting field position.
One thing you have to admire about Carson Beck is, people at home watching this game, the Georgia fans, they're screaming, yelling, calling him everything in the book, and he sits in there, deals with that adversity, and you have to be impressed with how he continues to fight through it. We got another, looks like a Georgia player down here, Everett, the corner.
The athletic training staff, most schools, do a phenomenal job. Such respect for the folks who do this as a profession. They've been way too busy for their own liking this afternoon.
I'll tell you, he got blocked by Jack. Looks like Pyburn got him. It's one of the risks you take by putting a starting corner down there covering kickoffs.
Pyburn, another starter, obviously, who hit him. Holly, a lot of injury updates to sort through down there.
Yeah, it's an issue right now. The starting corner for this game, Devin Moore for the Florida Gators, number 28, is out for the game. He's got a right leg injury. He's sitting over on the training table right now with a big brace and crutches. His counterpart on the opposite side, Dijon Johnson, went to the locker room, as you saw. So both starting corners out of this game right now, and their star, Sharif Denson. I'll try to get an update on him, but I'm starting to worry about maybe this field, guys. This is a lot of injuries that we're seeing here today.
I think it's like a loose turf issue. Let's circle back on that. They fake it to Baugh. Warner on the roll and just throws it into the bench. And just complete over there. Raylan Wilson was chasing him.
A really good job of staying home that time and doing his job. 1st and 10. They try to naked, go back the other way, but he shows good discipline. But this Georgia defense, just like against Texas, you go back to that game. What did they do so well? They got Texas in a lot of 3rd and longs. Texas that night, 2 of 15 on 3rd down. Tonight, Florida, 1 of 9 on 3rd down.
Makes a play like this very important in 2nd and 10. You would not like their chances with Warner to convert on 3rd and long. They just run a toss sweep, and that's some hard running by Baugh, who picks up about 9.
But we've been seeing Frazier, the freshman, on the other side. They're going to go tempo here to try to get them, prevent Georgia from getting the right personnel on. But we've seen so much of Frazier, but Baugh also showing us some impressive moments today as a freshman.
And he's got it. Had to bounce it outside. Had to dodge. Michael Williams was in the backfield. Got around him. Williams thinks he was held. There's no flag, and it's a 1st down.
What a jump cut there. I mean, there was nowhere to go on this run that's designed to go in here, but he bounces this thing outside. I'm a little bit surprised Starks squeezes that instead of staying out wide, just in case he bounced that out there.
You can see why Williams was complaining. A little tug of the jerseys. He tried to get to that edge. Play fake on 1st down. Warner backpedaling and now being chased, and he'll just throw it away as the pressure was closing in from C.J. Allen.
The passing, he is 2 of 7 for 8 yards since he has come into this game. Obviously needing to try not to lose it on offense, being conservative, trying to be smart, but nothing right now. They're very one-dimensional running the football. And outside of that long touchdown pass, after they got the turnover, they threw that 43-yard touchdown. They're 3 of 12 for 12 yards passing in the game.
Yeah, 4 completions today. They had a total of 12 in the win over Kentucky, but a lot of those were big plays. So, and that's a attempted pass that's incomplete. They're not calling it, see, now they're going to rule it. There was some question, was it a backward pass? But no. Even the simple things are hard to complete right now.
He looked downfield to see where he's going to go, took his eye off the ball. But that ball is thrown from the 44, and it's caught, or attempted to be caught around the 45. So it's definitely, the ball's going forward. Close, but definitely going forward.
Right, he definitely looked upfield.
Look at his eyes. I mean, he starts to look where he's got a couple blocks in front of him. But here we go again on third down. They're got the last one with a good run by Ball, but 2 of 10. You know, Georgia as good as anybody disguising and trying to confuse the quarterback.
Got to hurry. Do they get it off? No. Play clock wound down. Napier just did get the timeout called to keep this from being an even longer attempt at third down. Tie ball game in Jacksonville, midway third. It's a beautiful scene here in North Florida. And don't forget, turn your clocks ahead tonight. Fall back. I'm sorry, you're back. An extra hour sleep. Back.
Okay, good.
Goodyear for the aerial coverage. Ready for the road. Goodyear more driven. All right, Gators. Tough chore here. 3rd and 10 for Aiden Warner, right near midfield. Dogs do bring some pressure. Warner on the move, slings it high, and it's complete for a first down. Elijah Badger finally involved. How do you do, Mr. Warner, on 3rd and 10?
They move him in motion here. He'll work up, then back out. He's matched up man-to-man against Dalen Everett. Gets a little bit just enough. And how about the throw, like you said there? Best throw we've seen by far from Warner, the transfer from Yale.
Somehow convert on 3rd and long. Baugh has it. And he's hammered as Dan Jackson came up to fill. They grabbed him low and high, gained about a yard.
Jackson out here bringing in some fire. That's what he's known for. 6'1", 195, 5th-year senior, plays with a ton of emotion. We've talked a lot tonight about out the whole first half because of the targeting call against Texas. Finally gets into this game, and if they run the ball, you'll see 17 coming downhill in a hurry.
Just respected around the SEC guy. Came to Georgia as a walk-on. No offers out of high school except Air Force. That was it. Pitch to the edge. Again, they find Meisel. It is closed down quickly after picking up a couple. C.J. Allen and Aguero got him, so it's 3rd and long again, Kirk.
This Georgia defense is playing at a very different level right now. They weren't the same defense in the first half. They know that in this game now, it's crunch time. They are doing what they can, but got to give Florida credit. This drive started on their own 33-yard line. Remember, after the running back Frazier did that Gator taunt.
Yep.
Gave him good starting field position.
Only had 1 3rd down conversion before this drive. Now they're trying to make it 3 on this drive alone. But Jackson is stopped a couple of yards short. 4th down. They're in field goal range. Does Napier think about going for it here?
They're right away. They're not hesitating. They bring the field goal unit out.
Trey Smack has been reliable.
Hit a big one at the end of the first half.
53-yarder that time. This is from 51 to put the Gators back on top. Oh, the snap on the ground. Disastrous play. Still rolling around. Dogs trying to scoop it up. It's still alive. And a special teams disaster for the Gators when they're trying to take the lead. Instead, set the Dogs up deep in Florida territory.
That's a bad snap. Lowe gets away from the holder.
Rocco Underwood was the snapper. My goodness, they've been so reliable in this department. The efficiency of the operation at the end of the half. It's a ground ball under the mitt there.
Yeah, ball was just low.
And then it became a scramble.
Crawshaw looked, I mean, he obviously is just trying to make a play on the football.
Georgia trying to turn it into a touchdown. Instead, sets up back at the 36.
Georgia, see if they can capitalize now on this big opportunity.
Momentum wearing red right now, and this Georgia crowd has come to life. Frazier dragged down, picked up about 7. Call it 6. Wow. Needed to be really good in special teams, and they had been until that bad snap. Lost 31 yards. Only did not get the 3 points, but set up Kirby's team in great position. Big ask for this Gator defense right here. Jones comes in motion. They fake it to him, and Beck flips it down. Rosick, the tight end, slipped out, and it's a first down.
Great job by Beck anticipating he's going to get pressured off that edge right away from Cameron James, and he did. Because he got in there so quickly, he had to get the ball either around him or over top of him. He elected to change that arm angle and work around him, but he had to do it in a hurry. Once he got the ball out there, his first down yardage to be had by Jurasek.
Back looking to throw in first down. Picked up the pressure, flipped it across the middle. Cass Jones making a move and fights all the way to the end zone. And Georgia takes the lead. Happened fast, didn't it? Going to go up 3. Now you're suddenly down 7.
Yeah. You said it. The momentum had really switched in this game, and Florida had a chance to recapture it with the drive that they put together. But the snap, of course, got away from the holder. Georgia capitalizes on really good field position, and we said at any moment this offense can get into the groove, and they certainly have done that the last couple drives.
Cass Jones and Frazier stepping in with Etienne out of this game. Dogs up by 7 now.
Cass Jones is so dangerous out of the backfield. He'll get matched up right here, one-on-one. They just clear it out. It's a one-on-one. Everybody else in man coverage. Look at the move at the top of this route. Give him a little shake, a little bounce, and then into the inside, being able to beat Shamar James, and then the physicality there right at the goal line to get it across for the touchdown.
Broke 3 tackles.
Did. Right there from James, keeps the balance, shows you that strength, and then lowers the shoulder, goes through a couple safeties. Great play by Cass Jones. And again, I keep saying it, but I'm just incredibly, anybody who loves college football, you got to be proud of a guy that faces adversity. It hadn't been a great day for Carson Beck, but he hadn't shied away from it. He's kind of stayed in this battle. And these last 2 drives, he's made some big throws, and more importantly, been a good leader by going through those tough times. He'll grow from that.
Cass Jones, another guy who's stepping up. Injuries all over that Georgia running back room. At the beginning of the year, you wouldn't have figured Cass Jones was going to make a big play to go ahead of the Gators late in the 3rd quarter. But he has
not at all
answered the call, as Georgia players have been doing in recent years.
Take advantage of an opportunity.
So, it's coming up soon. Tuesday night, the exclusive reveal of the first CFP Top 25 rankings. We'll be joining Reese and the gang. Ward Manuel's the Michigan Athletic Director. He's the committee chairman this year. 7 Eastern on ESPN, also on the app.
Just a few things going on Tuesday. It's good. I'll be dialed into that show.
Yeah, if you want to break from the other stuff going on Tuesday night. Oregon, #1 in the AP poll, leading Michigan at the moment. Now it's loud. And Aiden Warner trying to manufacture something here with Jacoby Jackson, who's about their 4th running back on the depth chart, stepping in to make a play. Mikael Williams got him behind the line.
That's a 6-1 defense. They have 6 guys at the line of scrimmage, and that creates one-on-one opportunities for Michael Williams and Walker and company. You're not going to win. If you don't have an ability to throw the football, they know you're going to run. They're just going to stack the line of scrimmage and beat you one-on-one.
Warner with an empty backfield on 2nd and 11, final minute of the quarter. Steps up, and he's not going to escape. Not the most explosive runner. Chaz Chambliss got him down, and it's 3rd down and extra long.
Like Glenn Schumann, a defensive coordinator from Georgia, in my mind, one of the top coordinators in the country. He had a plan to come into this game against a true freshman, DJ Lagway, and mix up the looks. Now you got the transfer from Yale, and Glenn Schumann still doing it. Giving one look, going to another. Lagway there, of course, is out. But Schumann, now that he's got Jackson back, he's got Starks back there, got the momentum, you got that defensive front. The Dogs are feeling it.
2 third-quarter touchdowns by Georgia. They're on top. Final quarter from Jacksonville coming up. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC stations. You're watching the SEC on ABC. Final quarter set in Jacksonville. You're watching the SEC on ABC. This rivalry game, which began with the big underdog Gators building a lead. DJ Lagway goes out. Gators seize momentum, and instead of being up 3, Florida, then misfired snap. They're now down 7, and Aiden Warner, a really tough job here, beginning with a 3rd and 14. Warner looking for somebody, directing the secondary, and fires it into heavy traffic. The ball was tipped off the hands of C.J. Allen and falls incomplete. They're fortunate to send out the punt team here.
Yeah, obviously you got to be so careful making this throw. Anytime you're running for your life and you throw back into the teeth of that defense, you're flirting with disaster. So close to an interception that time from C.J. Allen, just got the hand on it. And then Starks almost dives for the interception.
Starks at the 31 to receive the punt from Crawshaw. Typically solid effort, and fair catch made at the 25. Here's that sequence. The Dogs had tied the game, but Gators got something going, and then this snap, instead of a 51-yard field goal attempt, they lose 31 on the play, and it sets up Beck and company. Lagway cannot believe that missed opportunity, and here's Cash Jones cashing it in.
Yeah, and he's more than capable of making. What an effort here by Cash Jones. Get that touchdown. Carson Beck fired up. You know, he's capable. He made the 53-yarder earlier. Not only does it put you up 16-13, it maybe slows the momentum down. But the Dogs able to capitalize, 7-point lead, get the ball back now. They've been running the ball a lot better here in the second half.
Figure to see more of that. Frazier dragged down, did not get around the edge there. Justice Boone, one of the backup defensive ends, making the play. You know, Gators have shown a ton of grit. I think this team, you know, shorthanded before the game, even before Lagway went down, they're without their best running back, their second best running back, their best receiver, their best corner. I mean, that's a lot of guys to be missing facing a squad like Georgia. And then more injuries throughout the game on both sides of the ball. Trying to find a way to make a play to turn this momentum around. And it's going to be a steady diet of Frazier hammering downhill.
You know what's impressive is that there's Lagway, of course, we keep talking about. The other injuries that Chris just touched on.
Moore
3 of
Johnson
those defensive backs. But the important thing, if you're a Florida fan, I mean, let's face it, coming into the year, Billy Napier was being talked about by people about, is he the right guy? This season early wasn't great. They turned it around. Now facing this adversity in a rivalry game. But you know what? They're battling through it. I mean, they're competing, which is really what you want to see from any team. Shows the respect they have for their coach.
Beck trying to throw for it on 3rd and short. Instead, he's sacked. That's a big play. The Gator defense to get off the field there. Miles Graham, another guy off that depth chart, making a big sack.
And again, look, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they bring another. So they're just trying to create opportunities for these backers to come clean, and give them credit. They're not going away. Graham, the freshman, able to work, and I don't think Beck felt him or saw him until it was too late. So again, we just talked about Florida is here. They're battling despite those injuries. They do it again.
It's the second sack. They've had the 3 takeaways. That's not a very good punt by Thorsten Standard. It's muffed, but fallen on by DK. So that was an excellent sequence by the Gator defense to get the ball back to their offense as they try to battle back yet again. 12:42 to play. Marcel Reed.
Focus there on bottom right. He is locked in.
Marcel Reed's locked in.
Yes.
They go on the road here. Obviously, trap game. Kirby Smart says in the SEC, you don't play well, anybody can get you, and that includes South Carolina.
South Carolina, with Shane Beamer, he'll do a good job of getting his team to feel disrespected. And Marcel Reed and A&M after last week, they become one of the big stories. They'll be fired up. That'll be a good one to watch.
First down handoff. That's Jaden Baugh. Middle for a couple of yards. What's it going to take to get an explosive play? Because it seems unlikely they're going to march down for a touchdown here in 10, 12 plays.
Well, you obviously need help. You need a big play. His kick and throw it. It's just going to have to win a one-on-one battle on the outside. Right now, Georgia does not fear quarterback run anymore because Lagway's not in there, and they don't feel downfield passing. So consequently, they have loaded up against this run game, and they've given up -3 yards in this second half.
Trying to run into a very heavy box with very talented players, and nothing there, as you might expect. Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins got him.
Think about that. You go from having to respect the edge because of the quarterback run game with Lagway, who's now out of this game, and you don't have to worry about that threat anymore. That's another gap you don't have to worry about. So now you can just lock in on that running back. You're not concerned about the quarterback when they run the football. And you're not worried about downfield passing. Anything beyond 5, 10 yards, you haven't really been worried too much about, so you just load up on everything underneath.
2 tight ends shift to the right side on this 3rd and 7. Flag is out. Ball is incomplete. No one open over there. It was tight coverage on Burke by Dalen Everett. And we'll check the marker. Signal was false start.
Illegal formation.
Daniel Gautreaux.
Offense, number 65, not lined up on the line of scrimmage. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
And they don't need to take that penalty. Florida will punt it away.
They now have 7 of their 11 drives have been 3 and outs. Think about that.
I mean, even with Lagway in there, they were going to need big plays to have success on offense. They're not going to be able to march it. That just hasn't been the case. Again, Montrell Johnson can't help yet. He's a home run threat at back. Trey Wilson is a home run threat at receiver. They're missing those guys. So the playmakers, few and far between at this moment. But fair caught at the 12. So this is another chapter in this long rivalry. Still up for grabs here with 11:20 to play. Dogs back to work, up by a touchdown.
The SEC on ABC is presented by Burger King. You rule.
It's a short ride for Caesar and the All-State bus down here to Jacksonville. What's the All-State Good Hands play this weekend?
Wow, what a great game. Davison Igbinosun with maybe the play of the game. Look at this near the end of the first half, 13 seconds. Looked like a touchdown, but Igbinosun takes it away. Look at this football. I mean, it's in his hands, bobbled, and somehow one in white gets that football secured. Right foot is down, interception and a touchback there at the end of the first half. That would prove to be pivotal in that football game.
By the end of the game, Penn State 1st and goal at the Ohio State 3.
Yeah.
4 plays, could not get it in. The Buckeyes ran out the clock.
Yep. Defense really stepped up in some critical moments.
First loss for Penn State. Ohio State avoided a second conference loss.
My reason in picking Ohio State was the urgency that Ohio State losing to Oregon in this new 12-team playoff. They had to win this game, or they're pretty much on the back burner or on the outside looking in. Penn State, they have maybe avoid a trip to Indianapolis. If they can win out, sitting there at 11-1, they're definitely going to be in a large pick, you would think.
Jones, who just scored the touchdown a while ago, tripped up after a short gain. It's going to be third down. Denson made the tackle.
I mean, it almost feels like with that momentum flip and 2 straight touchdowns, the crowd's kind of out of the game. Florida fans, a lot of them have left the stadium. It's a 7-point game. 10.5 minutes to go. Third down at their own 16-yard line. You're a pick 6 away from tying this game up. I mean, this isn't a 25 or 30-point game. 7-point game.
First close game we've had in a while. They haven't been this close to even hanging with Georgia in recent years. And they get the stop on 3rd and 5. Pressure comes, and it's incomplete. Miscommunication. Lovett was over there. Bell, hands on his head. And Dogs send out the punt team again.
As soon as he let that football go, he kind of brought his hands up to his face. Almost frustrated. I don't know if it was himself or just a miscommunication with the receiver. But he had a spot where he wanted to throw that ball. The Gator defense never saw it. You could see that they're just not on the same page there on that 3rd down. Carson trying to let Kirby know what happened.
Since they had the 7-point lead, Kirk, on the Jones touchdown, Dogs have had back-to-back 3-and-outs. So a chance to build the lead. Gator defense wouldn't let him, and that's not a very good punt of the standards of this game. Just 38 yards. Gators take over at their 45. That kind of day for the Jacksonville native.
We saw something similar in the Georgia-Alabama game. A little hand signal to receivers. You can see Lovett. He's not quite sure. 86 gives the head nod. But a complete miscommunication at a critical moment here, deep in their own territory on 3rd down. And look at the frustration on the fade. Don't put this one on Carson Beck. That's him trying to tell his receiver with a hand signal, let's get on the same page, and it's a miss.
The Gators still have life. They've gotten back-to-back stops, still down 7 here. Here's Aiden Warner with the help of Jacoby Jackson, trying to create something here. Looking to throw in 1st down. Warner fires down the middle, and it's incomplete. Well covered was Elijah Badger. Imagine being Warner. He gets in there, mop-up duty against Samford. Lagway started that game. Gets in there, runs for a 9-yard touchdown. And he said he almost blacked out. It was a surreal experience as a kid who grew up watching the Gators just to get in a game against Samford and score.
Right.
That for him was a thrill. Here he is against the Georgia Bulldogs.
Right.
In a close game.
Unreal.
Going to engineer something, and something he never would have imagined.
What an opportunity. That's the way you should look at it. What an opportunity.
Beyond his wildest dream. Exactly. Can he somehow seize it? Steps up, launches downfield, and the catch is made. It's Badger inside the Georgia 30, right on cue.
Yeah, I mean, right on cue. We said these guys are a possession away. He's going to work across. Let's watch the linebacker here, C.J. Allen, who's got it, reading the quarterback. He's got to get depth. He's got to get depth with his back there to the quarterback. Never locates the football. Good recognition there by Warner to fire that to give the receiver a chance.
26 yards on just the 7th completion for this Gator offense. The 5th by Warner, 5 of 15. First down run, Jackson into that heavy box, picks up a couple, and there's a flag down.
Personal foul, hands to the face, defense,
wow.
number 10. The penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal.
Well, that's Damon Wilson. That is a break, this Gator offense. They can use every one of these.
Wow, you're right. They're looking for a break. There's 10 right there. Wilson, left hand gets up in that shoulder pad, like close to the face mask and close enough where he got it up to the lower part. And that's what they call. See Kirby wearing his emotions on his sleeve down there.
How about this, Kirk? That sets up the Gators at the 13, trying to punch it in and incredibly come back to tie this game. They look to be out of a few minutes ago. Jackson again. A flag comes in as he powers forward in an area you'd suggest it would be holding.
Yeah, definitely a hold. Crenshaw Dixon 65, it looked
Holding.
like to me.
Offense, number 65. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot.
He's pulling
First
around.
down.
Counter play. You're pulling a right guard and a right tackle. He comes up to meet. He comes up to meet the linebacker, and we're going to pull both these guys around. But 65, the right tackle. Watch him meet the linebacker. Gets up above his head. Just grabs onto him.
So they were given that 15-yard penalty. Now that stings and moves them back to 1st and 20 from the 23. Play clock at 1. Did they get it off? There's no flag for delay. Jackson powers forward. They maybe with a 1/10 of a second.
That was close.
Cut that off.
I'll tell you that, they don't have Montrell Johnson, their leader in this backfield today. We've seen a lot of Ball, the freshman, but the combination of Jackson and Ball, this kid Jackson runs harder, man. I mean, he is giving them at least positive yards and running through a lot of tackles there. Over 5 yards, over 5 yards a carry.
Out of Pensacola, went to a junior college in Mississippi before coming to Gainesville. He got 8, so on 2nd and 12, he's got the ball again. Jackson makes a cut. Jackson to the end zone. In this collection of gritty Gator backups within a PAT of getting even here.
We just said this isn't a 30-point game. They're a possession away from tying it. The stadium was flat. The Gators, a lot of them have left, but they've got to run back. Georgia now is stunned. I think after 14 straight points, I think they thought they had this game won.
So Warden makes the throw. Then you had the face mask penalty. They survive a 1st and 10 holding penalty. And Jacoby Jackson running like Emmitt Smith out there. This game is dead even.
Well, we've done some Georgia games where they lose the edge of their defense. They motion here, plan man coverage, they go with it. Watch them on the edge of this defense with it. Tackle makes a nice block. Man to man, you get a 2-for-1 right here. Watch the receiver, he takes out Jackson. The corner follows him. The other corner's downfield, playing man to man. Doesn't turn around to see the football. But they get to that edge, a ton of space. He's been physical, but this time out in that space, he makes some people miss and takes it all the way to the house.
They battled another rival, Tennessee, on the road. That was the game when Mertz went out. Montrell Johnson went out. Lagway made a throw, a big 3rd down throw. They got into overtime. Did not execute well. Couldn't finish the job. It was a gritty near upset. They don't want any near upsets today. Can they execute down the stretch?
This is, we come in and see we're doing Florida, Georgia. We haven't been down here in a while. As broadcasters, you're always like, hey, this never know. Could be a competitive game, rivalry game. And here we are 20-20 with 7:29 to go. And a chance for Carson Beck now, who's had to answer through some adversity and has done a good job of it. Going to get another chance.
Like we felt, probably you at home, a lot of you felt, the Florida fans left, that when Georgia got up 7 points, it was going to be tough for them to come back with Warner. And then they had 2 chances on offense to kind of build the lead, get a drive going, and really put this thing away. Couldn't do it. And all of a sudden, Florida has gotten even. And at the midway point of the final quarter, Carson Beck, you saw the frustration. You highlighted it in the last possession. He always talks about shaking it off, turning the page, forgetting the last play, being composed in the big moment. Can he do it right here? There's life from the folks in blue and orange now.
Gators are playing with house money. All the pressure on this Georgia Bulldog team.
It's loud as it's been since the injury to Lagway. Pitch on the far side to Humphreys. Holly?
Well, guys, Kirby Smart told me at the half that Trevor Etienne was going to try to play in the second half, but I have not seen him come in for a single rep. He's got a rib injury, and just keep in mind, he is their most explosive guy on offense, whether he's running the ball or catching it out of the backfield. 3 touchdowns against Texas. They are just missing his offensive energy. Just keep in mind, he is still out with that rib injury.
It's frustrating for him, no doubt. Not able to fight through that pain because this is a game that he's waited a long time for. Play against his former teammates. His 3rd time in this game, but he was in a Gator uniform the last 2. Now on the edge, Lovett makes the catch, had to reach back for it, and that got time there for Bridges to get there and drop him for a very short loss.
Yeah, this is what you want. I mean, you need to be blocking out in front if you're Dylan Bell, but the football needs to be out in front of Lovett. This ball's behind him. You want to put that ball out in front. Little thing on accuracy, but you got a couple Gators right there. Poor block there by Dylan Bell.
Who can Beck count on here on 3rd and 7? Just 2 for 9 on 3rd downs this afternoon. Gators trying to get the ball back.
Walking
a chance to take the lead.
Walking that pressure up. Carson Beck trying to make an adjustment. Help with pass protection.
Play clock at 3. They get the snap. Here comes the pressure. Beck steps up, delivers a throw, and it's on target. Arian Smith's broken free, and again, number 11 makes a clutch catch on 3rd and long. It happened in Austin, happened there for 34 yards.
Armani McClain, a backup corner. This is the thing. When you bring pressure, if you don't get home, you're leaving your corners isolated against some really talented receivers. Beck's got time, waits for his man to work to that out to the corner, and delivers clutch in a clutch manner there on 3rd down.
2 guys involved in the catch and the tackle went to Lakeland High School. Different ages, but same high school. Polk County, Florida. What a play. So Beck off the play fake, trying to throw in 1st down. Rolls out and fires along the sidelines. That was Lawson Lucky, and they're going to rule it a catch. It's a 1st down.
This is a terrific job by Lucky, who is here. I want you to just watch him and the importance in helping a quarterback out. There's his route. There's his route. Now he sees his quarterback's in trouble. He goes downfield, and then he comes back. Really good job of selling that upfield. Now the defender's lost. Then he comes back and has the awareness to get that foot down in bounds. Way to help your quarterback out there, Lawson Lucky. Great play.
So 2 completions, and from 3rd and long, they're suddenly in the red zone. Frazier makes a cut and bangs forward for about 7, down to the 10.
Boys, he run hard, man, and left side of that offensive line. Ernest Green. Micah Morris continues to bounce around from the right side to the left side, 56. He gets his body turned, makes that safety miss, and running with a lot of intensity.
Across the middle, incomplete. Bell had a step, the ball was high, and he's showing his frustration.
Well, this is a simple read, an RPO. Keep the quarterback's eyes. If he comes downhill, which he does, go right over top of him. See how he tackled the back? That's a great read. They just don't connect there. That's exactly what you wanted if you're Beck, to get that safety down. He just misses the throw.
3rd down again, they need 3. Pressure again. Beck gets it out quickly. It's Levitt trying to work free, and he scores. Georgia on top again. They brought the heat. It was picked up, and Levitt out of the slot scoots into the end zone. The Dogs up again with 4:01 to play.
That's the 2nd time in the drive that they brought the pressure, and they weren't able to get to the quarterback once on the big 3rd down. We should definitely put a star next to that play. That really ignited this drive, that 3rd down pass to Smith. And then here, I always say this screen to the receiver. I just think of Ladd McConkey, how many times he ran this over the last few years, and now it's Lovett who's got to do it. I want you to see the block by Delp. Does just enough to help this out, because this was a little bit slower developing than it has been in the past. Here he is right here, and watch him make this little block right there. See how slow this play takes a little bit of time because he's looking left, selling it, and then comes back to the right. Nice little block by 4. Ratledge downfield, picks up a block. How great is it to see 69 in red, who's been down with an injury. There he makes a big block. It's a staple in this Georgia playbook. They called it the right time against that blitz from Florida. Shakes one would-be tackler, and Lubbock gets into the end zone.
Circumstances not identical, Kirk. We talked about the game in Austin. Remember, Texas at Battleback is a one-score game. It's 3rd and long. McConaughey's down there. The crowd's going crazy. Beck finds Arian Smith over the middle, a huge gain.
Yeah.
The flea flicker the next play, and that was crucial to kind of stabilize things and protect the lead. Here in a tie game, 3rd and long, it's Smith, and then he finds Lucky in the sidelines.
That's what you and I are saying is, yeah, he's throwing the picks. He's making some decisions that make you go, what the heck's this guy doing? But he's fighting through it, and when these games come down to moments where you got to make a play, he's making those plays.
Kick return out to the 17-yard line. That's where Baugh is brought down. Check in with Kevin Nagandi.
First, we got a stunner in Ames. Texas Tech drives 76 yards on 12 plays in less than 2 minutes here, Boog. It's Taj Brooks.
No doubt. I love the direct snap to the tailback. Quarterback out front. And look at the Red Raiders, Kev.
Down goes undefeated number 11 Iowa State, 23-22, and we are leading off to this. 30 minutes away from Lenora Sellers and South Carolina hosting number 10 Texas A&M, primetime on ABC. Chris, back to you.
So unbeaten's down to 6 in college football with Penn State and Iowa State going down.
That is big.
Gators now 3:56 once again. Down 7 once again. Aiden Warner, Jacoby Jackson, and this team of backups. And the Gators trying to find a way to create some magic here and get even. Warner on the run, throw an interception. He threw it right to C.J. Allen, and the Dogs set up at the 13-yard line. And that is a fairy tale killer. If you're the Florida fans, there's a flag down the end of the play.
Probably a celebration after, but boy, Georgia's defense not surprised at all by the play action.
After the interception, personal foul, tripping on the passing team, number 16. The penalty will be enforced half the distance from the end of the run. First down, Georgia.
Listen, it's easy to sit up here, right, especially with a young guy who's transferred over from Yale, who's doing a heck of a job of managing this thing. Backside, when you run a play like this, you got to see it and you got to get it out early. Right here, he can make that throw. Right there, look, you got a double team right here. That's gone. Look backside, and you can make that throw earlier, and he had a chance. Into the boundary, you hold that ball, and again, he's inexperienced. You understand why, and he didn't look backside until it was too late. He found him, makes the throw, and the athletic linebackers from Georgia, it read his eyes all the way, and by the time he was too late, they make the pick.
C.J. Allen's turn to make a big play. It hasn't been the more heralded stars on this defense that it hasn't been Michael Williams and Jalen Walker.
Yeah.
And now Frazier trying to get around the edge is shoved out at the 4, but guys like C.J. Allen, who's a backup all last year, kind of developing and growing and waiting for his chance.
Again, they have depth, so when you don't have a day for Walker or Williams the way we did in Austin, these other guys got to step up. Now that they're healthy, you know that the interior is going to be strong. They got a lot of linebackers because they've had to play through some injuries, and they're confident that they can rotate a lot of different guys in, and that'll come in very handy as they work themselves down in games against Tennessee and further down the road.
Yeah, Ole Miss is next in Oxford.
Yeah.
Then they come home to Tennessee.
Ole Miss had a huge win today in Fayetteville.
And off on the end around, Dwight Phillips, the freshman. They said they had a package of plays in for this guy. He hadn't touched the ball at all, but he is into the end zone. And the Dogs up a couple touchdowns, and that should be enough.
Yeah, that jet sweep, and I know he told us to look out for these plays with 20. That jet sweep under center hits so much faster, and it's so much tougher on the defense to communicate. And when you have a speedster like that, you just get him the ball. He's already in motion, like a Tyreek Hill type of motion, where he's in motion and at full speed. And because the defense reacted a little bit late, he got to the corner and was able to easily get to the end zone.
Give him that football. You want to hold on to the first career touchdown. It's his first career rush, and he finds the edge. He did so in a hurry. You're right. He did flash the speed.
He sure did. But here's the late throw right here, and Georgia all over the athletic ability by C.J. Allen. Keep in mind, this guy's like 235, 240-pound linebacker getting up there under center. You can see how quickly that hits. Good blocks in front of him, get to the end zone and put this game out of reach. Georgia survives a scare in a rivalry game against Florida.
Kirby was excited about this guy, a chance to kind of work him in. Well, in a game where so many guys were banged up coming in, so many got hurt, no surprise that Georgia, with the superior depth of this roster, they've been recruiting so well. Napier's trying to get things turned back. He's got a promising class in the pipeline for 25, but Georgia just has a roster that's already fully developed and able to withstand injuries.
Yeah, and it was speaking of injuries, there's another shot at DJ Lagway, and we know we're going to keep following Georgia and what they're doing the rest of this year. We probably won't see Florida a lot, but I think you walk out of here pretty impressed with their effort today, despite all those injuries. And there's the All-State playoff predictor.
It was coming into today.
Yeah.
See that Alabama, with those 2 losses, less than 50-50. Ole Miss did jump up. Actually, that's updated after Ole Miss's big win, and it's going to be a very eventful week next week. You know, Tennessee takes on Georgia in a couple weeks. Georgia, Ole Miss next week, and then of course we'll be in Baton Rouge with the Crimson Tide come calling. ESPN.com/All-State Playoff Predictor, so you can check out your team's chances of making the 12-team bracket. So 2 touchdowns in a minute for the Dogs. Just about put this one away. Handed off to Jaden Baugh. Meanwhile, for the Gators, Kirk, this is just a brutal gauntlet. We talked about this 4-game swing. All they got to do next week is go to Austin, Texas, without DJ Lagway, apparently. And then, you know, they got LSU at home, Ole Miss at home.
Yeah, tough grind. Yeah. We knew that when this season started. Now the injuries have mounted. You're going to be playing with your 3rd-string quarterback probably the rest of the way. Although this kid's played hard, played smart, it's just going up against a really talented football team. I just want to say one last thing before we don't get a chance to say this about Carson Beck. This doesn't make up for the decisions that he made. You know, some of these interceptions, he's going to go back and look at the film and say, geez, what was I thinking? But since his 3rd interception, he's 12 of 14 for 142 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's after the 3rd interception. So that's a great sign of a character and a guy that works through it, shows a lot of perseverance to be able to make plays after being more embarrassed than anybody. You know, people get frustrated when you play that spot. You make those decisions and throw those interceptions.
I think it's a great point. I think that he'll tell you, though, he's been talking about, I got to go back, look at the tape. Right. I got to get better. I got to play better. That's going to continue.
Yeah.
After this game.
And he does it again. So
Aggies and the Gamecocks. Le'Veon Moss, that tough runner. Aggies a slight, just more than a field goal favorite on the road in Columbia.
Better be ready.
Coming up.
Better be ready. I got to get home and see this one.
2 minutes to play as Gators try to convert here on 3rd and 7. Warner backpedals and delivers incomplete on the sideline, trying to find DK streaking across, and it's 4th down.
They love those levels concepts where they get a guy deep down the field, try to open up that 2nd level. DJ Lagway's hit a bunch of those over the last 2 or 3 weeks.
As you might expect, it's been tough for this Gator offense. Just 3 of 15 on 3rd down. A lot of 3rd and longs today. It's been really difficult since Lagway left the ball game. And now, last gasp. Firing across the middle, and they do convert on 4th down. It's Mizell making the catch down across the 40. Picked up 16. Gator lineman.
Big Damian George had Georgia blitzed and looked like a defender may have hit him low on his leg, left leg. What a throw here by the kid, though. I mean, look at the pressure. Allen's right in his face as he delivers that, puts it on the money. Couldn't have been thrown any better. That should be encouraging for Florida fans, what you're looking at with that schedule. That was a heck of a throw. 4th down. About to get hit in the face.
Guy that's going to be, we believe, under center as they go to Austin, Texas, take on a Longhorns team that's playing with a lot of urgency. George, by the way, got hurt in the Kentucky game. He's kind of questionable coming into this game. Gave it a go. He'll walk off. Apparently, the day is done for him. Oregon, 3-touchdown winner in the Big House today. We talked about Ohio State beating Penn State.
What does Penn State drop? 3 spots? I mean, the rankings come out Tuesday. Who knows? This is the AP. Who knows where they will be? But I almost wonder in the new world, you never want to lose a game, but are they better off losing a game, avoiding Indianapolis, a chance to rest up, and get ready to go? I mean, you always want to win, but you're going to avoid going to Indy more than likely now.
Chick-fil-A brought you the rankings. We've talked about this in this 12-team bracket. When you see how it's laid out, the 5 seed is kind of a great place to land. You don't get the bye, right, but you host the 5-12 game.
Yeah.
Right? Incomplete. So you're going to be a solid favorite against, maybe it's a group of 5. Who knows? It's going to be a long shot team. You win the 5-12 game.
You're at home.
You play at home. Then you play the neutral site quarterfinal against the 4 seed. Okay, so that's the lowest ranked champion of the P4. It's not the SEC, the Big 10 champ. Could be the Big 12 champ.
Yeah. I like where you're going with this.
Not a bad start to be that 5 seed.
To be the 5.
We're number 5.
Oh, yeah.
We're number 5.
Yes, we got it. Forget the bye. I love that.
Warner on the move, just trying to keep a flicker of faint hope alive, and he's going to be tackled by Chambliss along the sidelines there.
Boy, Chambliss deserved that sack.
He's got to throw it away at that point.
Yeah, but I'm just watching him. He must have run 30 yards to chase this sack down.
That's why his teammates were so pumped up.
Yeah, good for him. They were. Anytime you get an effort sack like that, look at him. He's gassed. Get him the oxygen. But he deserved it. Good job, 32. That was a beautiful play.
He says, if you're not going to throw it away, I'm just going to bring it down.
I'll take it. Yeah.
It's incomplete. So Kirby Smart's going to go to 7-2 head-to-head against the Gators. Georgia's seniors will go 4-0 in this rivalry. The first Georgia senior class to do so since they won 6 in a row back in '83. It's been 4 decades since the Georgia senior class has come and gone 4-0 against their rivals.
You're saying senior class from '83, so going back?
Yeah, they won 6 in a row. So the class in '83 won 4 in a row. The couple before that did as well. But it's been a long time. As much as Georgia has won, all the things they've accomplished, these guys will go through 4-0 against the Gators here in Jacksonville. Warner back pedals and delivers a throw on the sideline that's almost intercepted by Bolden.
He's frustrated. He wanted one there. I think it went right off of his shoulder pad. This kid's going to be a superstar as Starks will probably eventually head to the NFL. Dan Jackson will graduate. Hopefully he'll get a shot at the next level. KJ Bolden become the face of that back end for the next couple of years for Georgia. That one got right off his shoulder pad.
What was the game day panel consensus on the Aggies and the Gamecocks this week?
I think everybody said be very careful for Texas A&M.
But
yeah, it's going to be close. But
you guys always build up the underdog. Everything about Shane Beamer's program. We love Columbia.
Close. Yeah. Late score by A&M. I think Reese picked South Carolina straight up. Everybody picked A&M, but we all said be careful.
Reese will be locked in tonight. He's run by Frazier, and the Dogs will just plow ahead and run out the clock. And it's a far from perfect performance. Nothing like that sensational effort in Austin 2 weeks ago, knocking off the #1 team. But they take care of business in gritty fashion. As you said, Beck, after that 3rd interception, did clean up his game. Some clutch throws.
I love seeing Kirby down there. He pointed to his, say, hey, let's play smart. Then he holds his hand over his heart talking about playing with heart. And this was a grind. This is another chapter in the 24 season for Georgia, and lessons to be learned and film to be studied and try to get ready for the stretch run.
They blasted Ole Miss a year ago. It was a beatdown. Now they got to go to Oxford. What do you think about this?
What Ole Miss did today definitely caught their attention. Looks like the Rebs got things on the track, and Fayetteville put a ton of points up. So Kirby won't have a hard time getting the attention of his defense this week.
Georgia wins it. Boy, our hearts with DJ Lagway, who appeared to suffer a pretty significant hamstring injury. Certainly a hope that the news is better than we expect it to be. 34-20 is the final. Such a disappointment for that guy after a promising start. Bill Bedell produced the game. Jimmy Plant directed it. For our entire crew here in Jacksonville, for Holly Rowe, for Curb Street, Bill Lamagna, long distance. Chris Fowler saying so long from Jax to Kevin Negandhi in the studio.
Chris,